right, guys. So because we only, is someone's microphone? Okay, cool. Because we have about we are here till 9:30. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the meeting. So I call this meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance. Dila Gwanjan.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
National anthem, none. Roll call and verification of quorum. Aljera Chair Urea.
Custis, Morodo, Mole, Podier,
Sorry.
Kira. Okay. Gomez. Can I hear the Zoom?
Sorry, Garrett.
Sorry, I'm present.
Gomez,
I'm here.
Martinez,
Present.
McClellan,
Present.
Millington,
Present.
Richard,
Present.
Temple,
Present.
Bursey, Caldwell,
Present.
Robbins,
Present.
Spalding,
Present.
Van Kirk,
Present.
Castello,
Present.
Ferguson,
Present.
Lairdo, Maury,
Present.
Wynn,
Present.
Tenna, sorry. Simcoe,
Present.
Wanjin,
Present.
Verbert, Domino,
Present.
Foster,
Present.
Galloway,
Here.
Beaumont,
Here.
Becerra,
Present.
Gell,
Present.
DeMarla,
Here.
Patel,
Here.
Yamanchili,
Present.
Cinco, Burrell,
Present.
Borges,
Here.
Roll,
Present.
Almanar,
Present.
Anderson,
Present.
Castellan,
Present.
Beulah, Hall,
Present.
Did you call Sebula?
yes,
Oh, okay, I'm present. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear my name correctly.
Holmes,
Present.
Huerta,
Present.
Costas,
Here.
Martin,
Present.
Salerno,
Present.
Saucedo, Tache,
Present.
Cerisi, sorry,
Present.
Cox.
Present.
45 out of 55, quorum is verified.
Awesome. Approval of the minutes. So because we want to do a test voting with the voting system of Zoom, we're actually going to vote on the approval of the minutes just to test the system out. So is there a motion to approve last meeting's minutes? Okay. Any objections? Seeing none, we're going to vote on that still.
All right, regardless of whether you're on Zoom or in the room, you do need to vote. Otherwise, you will not be able to vote later, and that will be a problem.
Awesome. So the minutes stand approved by general consent. Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda? Any objections? Seeing none, the agenda stands approved. Open forum. Knights for Animal Rights, are you guys here? Okay, Knights for Animal Rights is not here. So now we have Tim Letzger from the Office of Provost and Academic Affairs. You have 15 minutes whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Kudos to being here in the summer. So I'm Tim Letzering. I'm Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. I've been here almost 3 years. About a year ago, I won't start my 1-minute timer because I was ready to do this in 60 seconds. So about a year ago, about April last year, one of your predecessors, Vice Chair Marianna Kellis, emailed me about a resolution that this body had presented to me as Vice Provost that had to do with how graduating with honors is both determined and communicated. And the part that I took to heart was that we were not very transparent in knowing what you need in order to graduate with honors. So I took this on. They provided excellent data comparing us to the other SUS universities. I took it to the provost first. He gave his blessing to me to move forward, and then I took it to the deans. We worked through it. There was initially about half of them. This was, as we were coming out of the pandemic, had no opinion. The other half liked the idea of being more transparent. So then I went to the registrar's office. And if you know how we do it now, it's based upon 10% graduate cum laude, top 5% graduate magna, and then the top 2.5% graduate summa cum laude. And that's by each college. So it's really not university honors. That was the first thing that the deans pointed out, is that this isn't university honors, this is college honors. The colleges already have their honors that they provide for their students. So let's make this university honors. So that was step one. And then step two was with the registrar's office. The registrar's office was very supportive of this move for a variety of reasons. One was it improved efficiency. Has the transition, has President Cartwright been here yet with the new body yet? Anyway, one of his focus since he's been here is to make us more efficient and to give us the right tools so that we can do better. And so this will improve the efficiency within the registrar's office. We won't have as many errors, or actually not errors, changes between what's in the commencement guide and what's on the transcript, because that final semester of grades can change the final percent of where the cutoff is. So with that, we are moving forward with changing this with the transparency. So the new cutoff for the overall at cum laude is going to be 3.80. Anybody that makes 3.80 will graduate with honors, regardless of college. And then it goes up to 3.899. Magna cum laude is 3.9 to 3.949. And then summa cum laude is 3.95 to 4.0. There will be minor changes within colleges. The two with the biggest changes will be the College of Medicine. They're actually going to, meaning the biomedical science fields, they're probably going to increase a little bit in the total number that graduate with honors, and the College of Undergraduate Studies will go down in the total number. But the overall number or percentage will likely go up. We ran some test data and it looks like about 11% will graduate with honors instead of 10%. I just saw Dr. Frame and she was excited to hear that number. This will make that, obviously honors is a distinction, but it'll be a little bit more inclusive by increasing that overall number. So because we can't have two systems, this is one of those policies that will go in place in the fall catalog and apply to those individuals starting graduating this December. That will not apply to those graduating this summer. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions, but I just wanted, since this started with this body, I wanted you to see something positive and success come out of a resolution that came to the provost's office. And by the way, I have another resolution I haven't given up on. and that's a syllabi repository for you. I can't believe we don't have one. So we're working on that one, but that's going to take, I've got to work with the regulation out of the Board of Governors first. And once I fix that, I think we'll have a system in place that we can utilize to make that resolution come be fulfilled as well.
And if anyone has any questions, you can definitely email him. I have his contact
I'll leave more
information.
cards. They gave me so many cards. I'll leave cards back there. Is it Brody? I'll leave my cards next to Brody. Thank you so much.
Anyone else for open forum? Seeing none. Announcements from the student body president, President Lopez.
Hello. Yeah, this is on. Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Happy first week back. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Daniela Lopez. I go by the she, her pronouns. I'm a rising senior majoring in integrated business, and I've been part of student government for the past 3 years. I started here in student government with SGLC, the mentorship program. Then I had the honor of serving as the diversity and inclusion coordinator. Then I went on to being the chief of staff last year, and now I'm your student body president. But with that, I do have a couple of announcements. So I don't know if you all saw the memo that I sent out to all of you, where I did select Sage Kerr as our interim Chief Justice. So let's give Sage a round of applause. With that, I also have executive cabinet appointments. So I hereby appoint the following people. So Brandon Greenaway for the position of Chief of Staff, Jennifer Sabrino for the position of Deputy Chief of Staff, Caitlin Moore for the position of Attorney General, Stephen Urched for the position of Comptroller, Ragad Alaraj for the position of Director of Student Affairs, Jonathan Greenip for the position of Academic Affairs Coordinator, Peter Pham for the position of Athletics Coordinator, Annie Lee for the position of Diversity and Inclusion Coordinator, Emily Reed for the position of Governmental Affairs Coordinator, Avery Lane for the position of Safety and Transportation Coordinator, Nicole Boysen for the position of Sustainability and Innovation Coordinator, Sierra Turner for the position of Director of Communications, and Colby Smith for the position of the Digital Media Coordinator. So just a little bit of background on the executive cabinet appointments. When going into interviews and just overseeing applications, we really did want to select individuals that are representative of our student body. And with that, this entire team, they're representative of 11 different majors. They have a variety of backgrounds, and they also have involvement on various areas on campus, some of them including PSAC, the Black Student Union, the Arboretum, the President's Leadership Council, the Honors College, sports clubs, lead scholars, homecoming, VSA, and so much more. So with that, those are the appointments for the executive cabinet. And then for Senate appointments, I hereby appoint Vihan Yalamanchili for the College of Health Professions and Sciences, seat 4. And then just a few other announcements. I had my Board of Trustees training last week. That was super informative. I had a great time. You would think that from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 that it would be just the longest day, but it actually went by so fast and it was really informative. So if any of you have any questions on any of that, please feel free to reach out to me. In addition, Zelly and I are almost done in the process of transitioning. So these past 2 weeks, we've really just been onboarding, learning just the ways and processes of our positions. And lastly, I don't know if you all heard or not, but today, the new Senior Vice President of Student Success was announced. So this was Dr. Frame's position. It is now Dr. Paul Dozel. I did hyperlink it on the minutes. So if you want to read his bio, feel free. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for President Lopez? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Announcements from the student body Vice President Martinez.
All right. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to come up here and personally introduce myself. My name is Salairis Martinez, bless you. But you can call me Zelly. I know my name is mouthful, but it's okay if you call me Zelly. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to work alongside you all this year. So feel free to come by my office, say hi. I would just love to talk. As Daniela mentioned, we are getting transitioned. We have some meetings today. I had my first Senate faculty meeting, so that was super exciting. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know or just send me an email. Thank you.
Any questions for Vice President Martinez? Seeing none, thank you so much. Comptroller vacants. You guys can see the numbers here and here. The CRT current account balance, $291,000, $107.27. The FAO current account balance, $102,449.25. They each have their reversion dates listed, with CRTs being 13.90% and FAOs being 15.653%. Cabinet Forum, Attorney General Soto.
Thank you. I guess now Acting Speaker Cerisi. And hi, Senate. I wasn't expecting to come back another Thursday, but here I am. If you want to revisit the Magna Carta or maybe some John Locke and how that influences, jurisprudential law, I'd be happy to touch on that later. Tonight I'm here fulfilling my statutory role of serving as the Attorney General in a full capacity until the next Attorney General gets confirmed. I believe those confirmations will likely be seen next week. Until then, whenever that happens, please feel free to email me. I'm here to answer every single one of your questions, whatever that is. I've met with some of you already. I've received opinion requests from some of you. Just use me as much as you'd like for this last week. 3 censures will be seen tonight. I will be here to provide advice and answer questions as the Senate moves through the censure process. In honor of Comptroller Fabregas, I included the current CRT and FAO account balances with the reversion rate. And I would like to thank Lexi for her service. She's no longer here, but she did a great job, I think. If this is truly my last Senate session, I truly wish you the best. As I said before, I'll say it again, your success is everyone's success. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for AG Soto? Seeing none, thank you so much. Announcements from the Interim Chief Justice, Chief Justice Kerr.
All right. Hello, Senate. I'm a little too tall for this microphone. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sage Kerr. I'm a rising junior. I'm studying political science. I've been sitting on the judicial branch since freshman year. Last year, I served as the External Assistant Chief Justice. And right now, I am serving as our Interim Chief Justice until that position can be officially filled. So I'm gonna keep it pretty brief. Lately, we're seeing kind of an influx of advising requests just because of final grades wrapping up and student conduct and whatnot. So if anyone contacts you for any reason regarding student conduct or grade appeals or integrity line, please refer them to me. In addition, we have a lot of seats to fill for our council this summer. Right now, there's only 2 sitting justices and one of them is studying abroad. So any questions that you have regarding judicial anything, just feel free to come into the office and ask me whatever. With that being said, our applications are open on Night Connect right now. So if you know anyone who might be a good candidate, go ahead and encourage them to apply. They close on Thursday, the 26th. Interviews for these new justices will be conducted from Monday, May 30th until Wednesday, June 1st. So it's a Monday until Wednesday. If you wish to sit on these interviews, I'm going to be making a sign up genius kind of with the time slots, and I'll try to roll that out early next week. Expect them to be held earlier in the day, but that's all I got.
Any questions for Sage? Seeing none, thank you. All right, announcements from the Supervisor of Elections, none. Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Chair, none. Announcements from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Senate President. So I'm going to give the report from Speaker Custis on her behalf. Sorry I'm not here tonight. I wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you next week. Branch head meetings will begin next week now that President Lopez is in the office and the interim Chief Justice has been appointed. Appointments to the position of ELA. She appoints Senator Galloway, and to the position of ILA, she nominates Senator Huerta, and resignation, Senator Maroto. If you guys have any questions for Speaker Custis, please email her. Internal legislative assistant report, none. External legislative assistant report, none. Senate President pro tempore. Hi, guys. I know I'm giving a lot of reports tonight. Welcome back. I hope you all had a really great break. Obviously, I'm acting speaker tonight, so please just bear with me because this will be my first time running Senate. So I'm going to be doing my best to make sure everything is running as efficiently and effectively as possible. The Pro Temp's office conducted 11 trainings over the break to basically prep my 2 new deputies with skills they will need for this upcoming session. If you have not yet had a new Senate orientation, I plan to have some of these scheduled by the end of the week, and we'll be sending out information regarding that. So please just let me know if you haven't had it, so that way I can get those to you as soon as possible. RSO assignments for the session have been made. I know Nick will probably be talking about this more in his report, but there have been distributions made. You should have received that last week in the Pro Temp's email report. And we also gave you an email template so you can know how to reach out to your RSOs. These will be due June 2nd by 5 p.m. Please make sure you get those done, or I will have to hold you in non-compliance, and I really don't want to. So please get those done. Also make sure you CC me and DSER Foster so that way we can know that you accomplished them. If you have already sent those emails, feel free to forward them. That also works fine. If you are interested in having a mentor this session, please fill out this form by tomorrow. That way we can make the pairings this weekend and get those to you next week. If you are interested, oh, I'm so sorry. I held an internal leadership meeting this afternoon, and we'll be having a caucus and fiscal leadership meeting tomorrow. If you would like to have a one-on-one with me, I have availability between 1 and 3 on Zoom tomorrow, so please just reach out to me. I have a Calendly link there for you, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or anyone else from our office. And now regarding Senate Rule 6.04, this is our pro-con procedures. So I had discussions in Senate leadership with some of Senate leadership about this, about potentially looking to remove this from statutes through a resolution because the pro-con procedures have been getting I've been getting feedback from them from a lot of people about their ineffectiveness because you only have 2 people doing it. They get a minute and then we go to vote. And I have also personally found them to be very ineffective. And I think that in order to run our meetings as efficiently as possible, that we consider removing this from our statutes. And this wouldn't take away debate. How it would work is if someone objects to a motion, we would then have just debate on it and then we would vote on it. So that way it's more than just 2 people talking, and people who may not understand what's going on have the ability, because that was one of the concerns brought up with pro-con, is that people were still voting when they weren't sure what was being stated. So I am proposing that tonight we do a test run of removing this from Senate rules, testing it out, and then if it doesn't work, we bring it back, and then if it works next week, I'll present it in a resolution. So with that, is there a motion to suspend Senate Rule 6.04 for the duration of the meeting? Any objections? Well, okay, cool. Now we can debate on it, right? We have to go to debate and then vote on it. Senator Cox.
I was not objecting. There are people who have 2 minutes to say present and voting. Point of information.
Oh. Senator Ververt.
Yeah, hi, present voting.
Any other senators need to state present voting? Okay, cool. We are now in debate on the motion. DSER Foster.
So I think there's a lot of times where, we'll be sitting in here, we'll go into pro-con and we'll think, oh, I really want that one thing that I want to say, but I can't say it because only 2 people get to speak in pro-con. And I think, sitting in this body, one of our main goals is to try to get everybody heard and get your opinion out. So at least from my point of view, I don't see how this is a negative thing. I would like to be able to speak, if I have a debate against an objection or for an objection, and I want everyone to speak. So I do support this motion.
Senator Ferguson.
I support this motion, but I would just say that I think that whoever made the objection should get to make a point about why they made the objection.
Yes, so point of information, they would still get to participate in debate regarding their motion. It just means that more than 2 people can debate on it. Senator Ferguson.
I just meant that I would hope that they would get to go first with that. That's all I meant to say.
Senator Yalaman-Chile.
I also support this motion. I would assume that the pro-cons we have had have not been effective. and the diversity of perspectives presented have not reflected the opinions of the entire Senate, and having more people speak would definitely be a good thing.
Are there any dissenting opinions? Yes, what's your name? I'm so sorry.
Senator Caldwell.
Senator Caldwell.
Yeah, I'm not 100% if this is a dissent. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but one concern I do have is one of time. Pro-con is a time sink already, but removing the limitations on who is speaking would massively increase the time. And from my time in Senate, I've seen a lot of times we're running over. Is this a misunderstanding, or would this increase the time we spend on Pro-con?
So yes, it would increase the time, but we don't want people voting on motions they're not 100% sure about. And currently how Pro-con works, if people have questions, they can't ask them. Any other dissenting opinions? Senator Maury?
I agree with Senator Caldwell on the time issue. I also think that many people can restate the same opinions that are shared by multiple people. I also think that it may take I think it's very simple to be able to, if you're paying attention to what's going on, to be able to understand what views certain people have. I wouldn't be opposed to amending the rules, but I don't think that we need to remove the pro-con system entirely.
Yes, and just to quickly interject, we would just be using this for tonight to see if it works, and if it doesn't, then we don't do it again, and we don't make it a rule change. Senator McClellan had his hand up for a while, so.
I have a question. Getting rid of pro-con, would that revert us back to using seconds, so that if a motion were to even be counted, somebody would have to second it?
I'm going to refer to Brody.
So know that those are two separate sections. So getting rid of one does not necessarily affect the other. I think there is potentially a sentiment that doing both would be valuable, but no, doing one does not necessarily affect the other. Does that make sense?
Would us then using seconds kind of make any motion that, like, it would get rid of objections if there's a motion that's bad and just nobody seconds it? So if it would implementing that maybe save us some time on that?
Yeah, how normal Robert's rules works, if there's a second, you do have to see that motion and you have to vote on it. So technically, yes. What I was proposing was more so pro-con because there's been so much confusion with pro-con and everyone hates it. So this was an idea to possibly revise the system. And should we want to implement the second procedure, that's something that we could do. Keep in mind, we have limited time tonight. So I just want to let y'all know just to be careful. Deezer Foster.
I feel like everybody's really worried about this regarding time, but I think time for debate is kind of up to discretion of the speaker. And Speaker Custis has shown that she doesn't want us to be in here till like 1 a.m. So I do trust her to be able to implement it well, not like let people just run wild and just debate for like 20 minutes.
Senator Maury.
Well, I trust Speaker Custis. I just want to say in the future, if we remove the rule, that would be the rule for the Senate for all time. So like when the next speaker comes in, we don't know if they're necessarily going to run it properly. I understand that we're just doing this for this meeting, but just in the future, if we do remove it.
Another quick point of information, if there are concerns with that, that can definitely be put into that future resolution. Should this be effective tonight? This is only a should this be effective tonight. Any other debate? A motion?
I do. I have a question. I'm on Zoom, sorry.
Senator Spalding.
Okay, so I'm just a little bit confused on, I guess, the process. So we're trying to get rid of pro-con and do something else instead. Is that my understanding?
Yes, so the motion is to suspend using pro-con just for this evening, and instead having debate should there be objections, having debate and then voting on the motion should there be objections.
Okay, thank you.
And you should only be asking for objections if you're sure the motion should be unanimous. Quick introduction. Would anyone like to make a motion? Deeser Foster?
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to go to voting. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. By a vote count of 34 to 5-1, the motion to suspend Senate rules regarding pro con carries. Okay. Any other questions for me regarding anything from my report? Seeing none, Deputy Pro Tempore of Legislative Affairs, Deela Gwanjan.
Hey everyone, hope you guys had a good break. So there was no legislation submitted to me or Pro Temp Ceresi since the Wednesday before last Senate meeting, so nothing will be seen on first reading tonight. Fiscal bill request forms are also open, but none have been submitted yet, so you can reach out to your RSOs about that. It is in your RSO email template.
Any questions for Deela Gwanjan? Seeing none, Deputy Pro Tempore of Senate Relations, Deeser Foster.
Good evening, guys. I hope everybody had a restful break and your finals went well. To kind of reiterate Pro Tempore Ceresi, the RSO distribution has been finalized. I assigned them on a first come, first served basis. So if you weren't able to get what you wanted, unfortunately, that means that someone else probably already requested it. There will be no RSOs traded either, since the deadline to make contact with your assigned RSOs has already been posted. So I do apologize for that. And if you have any questions about this or anything else, don't hesitate to reach out to me to schedule a one-on-one. My schedule is pretty busy over the summer, but if you want to meet like 1 a.m. and I'm awake, I'm down to do that.
Any questions for Deeser Foster? Okay, seeing none. Caucus reports, API Caucus Chair Patel.
Hi guys, it's APAM Month, American Pacific American Heritage Month. So if you'd like to celebrate that, we have a list on our agenda if you have time and want to do that. We recently had our new vice chair elected. Congrats to Vice Chair Jamala here. And in addition to that, the caucus discussed how we plan to fill in our 3 ex officio seats for the rest of the year. We're planning on making a process for that and having elections in the coming month. And on top of that, we also discussed on creating a SWANA task force, which Chair Salerno is working very hard to create, and we'll have more details following the next month. Thanks. I yield my time.
Any question for Chair Patel? Seeing none, Black Caucus Chair Holmes.
Hi, everyone. So this past week, we finalized a survey for our Natural Hair Initiative. Night Stop has offered to provide products for students, hair products for students. So we will be sending out a survey to students to fill out to see what products that they would like to see at Night Stop. Also, Vice Chair Castellan has reached out to our caucuses. I'm not sure if you've checked your email lately, but just wanted to make a, announcement that we are not going to do a meeting for the 31st, but we're going to find a time to meet for all the caucuses to talk about providing resources for Color Me Queer and guidance for the RSO, just because they're starting up and, we want to give them a welcoming, give them a good welcome, especially in the care of student government. Also, we sponsored Resolution 5401 introduced by Senator Moll, as well as we got the BSU president sponsorship as well for that resolution. Sorry, this is long. And just want to make aware to y'all the reinstatement of Professor Nagy. I provided a link to an article. There are all other articles as well that you can find online, but I just linked that one. So I just want to make y'all aware of what's going on. And then I wanted to do a moment of silence for the Buffalo mass shooting. I know that there are other mass shootings as well in various places around America, but I wanted to do a 10-second moment of silence for the 10 fatalities that happened. So I'm going to start that now. Thank you so much for your reverence, and that is all from me.
Any question for Chair Holmes? Are you a senator?
Yeah.
What's your name? I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you. What's your name? Lerdo. I'm so sorry. Senator Lerdo.
Present and voting.
So noted at 6:39 PM. I'm so sorry. Anyone else need to make a present and voting motion? Okay, cool. Seeing none. Disability Caucus, Chair Cox.
We meet every Tuesday at noon. That's it.
Awesome. Any questions for Chair Cox? Seeing none, Hispanic Latinx Chair Saucedo.
I'll take over for her. Hello, everyone. Buenas tardes. We will be meeting bi-weekly at 2 p.m. with the meeting beginning at June 3rd. And a couple things. Oh, by the way, so Mel's not here, which is why she's currently in Las Vegas, I believe. But she has several announcements that she wanted me to bring up. So including when is the next caucus meeting for us. We will be seeing Senator Chair Cox's land resolution pretty soon, a resolution that was brought up by her about land acknowledgements. If you have any questions about that, you can of course talk to her. I was just bringing it up about what we would see in the caucus in the future. Alongside that, Chair Borges has spoken to Chair Salcedo as well as myself about his idea on translating information regarding CRT into Spanish, as this would most certainly give forth accessibility towards Spanish speakers that have a hard time reading and understanding English. If you are fluent in Spanish and would love to help out, please feel free to let Chair Salcedo, myself, or Chair Borges know. Besides that, if you have any questions about anything else, you can contact Chair Salcedo or you can talk to me afterward as well. Thank you.
Any questions? Senator Cox.
I just wanted to say that my pronouns are they. Also, the resolution that was mentioned has not been introduced, so they won't be voting on it. It'll just be discussion.
Any other questions? Seeing none, LGBTQ+ caucus, Chair Yalaman Chile.
Hi, everyone. LGBTQ caucus met today at 4 p.m. We discussed a number of things. We agreed to hold meetings bi-weekly for the summer semester. So the next meeting would be on June the 2nd. We also discussed the status of ex officio seats, one being a permanent seat and the two being temporary, and how to fill them and to reach out to the related RSOs to see if they are interested in taking up such seats. And we also discussed the idea of allowing the addition of pronouns on UCF ID cards, which we thought would be an optional thing, as well as helping to change, help students who want to change their preferred names on the My UCF system do it in an easier way. Thank you.
Any questions for Chair Yalaman Chile? Okay, Women's Caucus, Chair Sabila.
Hi, we have not been able to meet this week, so I don't really have many announcements besides the fact that we will have vice chair elections next Wednesday at 1 p.m. And once we have a vice chair, we will be having meetings bi-weekly. Thank you.
Any questions for Chair Sabila? Awesome. We are now in unfinished business proclamations, Proclamation 5405, proclamation honoring 40 days for life, the pro-life movement, and the approximately 73 million worldwide victims of abortion in 2021. Senator Ferguson. Senator, is there a motion for speeches, questioning, and debate? Dila Gwanjan.
Move for 3-minute speeches, 30-minute questioning, 30-minute debate.
There's been a motion for 3-minute speeches, 30-minute questioning, and 30-minute debate. Are there any objections? Senator Maury.
I just object on the grounds that we already saw this proclamation and already debated on it. So I feel like we can have a shortened debating period.
I withdraw.
Okay.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, so if we could have like 3-minute speeches, 10-minute debate, and what's the final one? Questioning and 10-minute questioning.
Sorry, there's been a motion for 3-minute speeches, 10-minute questioning, and 10-minute debate. Are there any objections to that motion?
Objection, let's make it 15. I withdraw, that's fine.
Awesome. Okay. Does anyone object to the does anyone object to this motion for 3-minute speeches, 10-minute questioning, and 10-minute debate? Seeing none. Senator Ferguson, you have whenever.
All right, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting a second chance to run on this topic, but I am happy to have the opportunity to speak up for the forgotten party in abortion, the party that never gets a chance to speak. Let's think about it. There's really only 2 ways to justify abortion. Either the unborn baby isn't human or its death is justified. With regards to the first point, I presented some pretty clear evidence that unborn babies are human. They got their own unique DNA, different blood type than the mother. They have hopes and dreams, or they would if abortion didn't happen. I'm going to bring up the example that I brought up in the first speech. I don't know if y'all remember the abortion doctor's friend's unborn baby. That one was loved and human. It got the "look at that little baby, so cute" speech. The other baby, the unloved, unwanted baby, never got to hear anything. Its life was ended 15 weeks after conception. What difference was there between the two? What dreams, hopes, and fears were lost in the death of the second party? Who but God can say? Option B is best summed up by the slogan, "My body, my choice." But let me ask, why doesn't the baby get a choice about this? I would guess that abortion does not pull very highly among unborn babies. Just saying. I mean, I don't think that they would pick premature death. A child should not be destroyed because it is unwanted. It should not be annihilated because it is an inconvenience. Now, I understand many of y'all support abortion. Like, what I'm saying is hard. Many of y'all support it. Many of you march for it. Perhaps some of you even had one. I'm not speaking against anybody at all, but I'm speaking on behalf of the forgotten party, the second party that really we should think. What I want to do is simple. I want each and every one of you to consider how you would vote if you could see a video from the future, if you could see the unborn baby smile, if you could hear it talk, if you could see it grow, if you could see it grow in kindness and strength, if you could see the unborn baby jump, leap, roll in the green grass, enjoy all the wonders of God's great planet, if you could see it hugging children of its own,
1 minute.
what would you say? If you could see it inventing great things and speaking, what would you say? If you for one moment could, even into the future, glance into the future and look into its eyes, what would you say? Please protect the unborn. This is the human rights issue of our time. Please vote in favor of Proclamation 5405. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
We are now in line for questioning. Any senators with questions? Senator Almanar.
Good evening. Just a quick question. Has the recent events of the leaked SCOTUS decision on overturning Roe v. Wade has changed your opinion on this issue at all? Or has it, I don't know, strengthened your resolve for it at all? Just wondering what you're thinking about that.
I support the abolition of Roe versus Wade. As I've said, I think that I wish it hadn't been leaked because I think the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court made the right decision in that for both legal and I think that unborn babies have a right to life. It definitely has strengthened my resolve. I am very happy that Roe versus Wade, I hope that Roe versus Wade is overturned.
Senator McClellan.
You were talking a lot about your arguments against abortion specifically, but I'd like you to also remind us all about why you brought this proclamation up, this proclamation that's honoring 40 Days for Life, the pro-life movement, the approximately 73 million worldwide victims of abortion in 2021. Like the reasoning for this resolution, what it will do. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Of course, I'm happy to do that. Thank you very much for your question. Simply put, I think this is a tremendous tragedy, and it's the human rights issue of our time. 73 million is an uncountable number. It's a tremendous number. 25% of all pregnancies end in abortion. And I think that honoring 40 Days for Life, which is an organization that has saved 20,000 babies, In the past, I believe it was 13 years. I think that is something that would be good to do. And it's a worthy organization that UCF would do well to honor.
Chair Urea?
I asked this last time, but you didn't have an answer, so I'm just asking again. So I know we passed a pro-choice proclamation, and I asked if there was a specific organization mentioned in that, and you said you didn't think so. Did you get confirmation on that since then?
I don't believe that it mentioned, I haven't looked at the bill, but I don't think, from what I remember, I don't think it mentioned a specific organization, but the intent of it was the same, to speak in favor, like it spoke heavily in favor of abortion.
Chair Holmes, did you still have a question? Harrell? And then it'll be Costas Almanar.
I was just curious about the 40 days of life. Were you aware that there's many cases of 40 days of life assaulting people outside of Planned Parenthood? I'm asking because I don't know if that's necessarily an organization that UCF should be showing support of if those cases are real.
I'm not aware of that. I'm also would note that I have a clause in my proclamation that I'm not honoring any unlawful behavior or violence or anything like that. This is strictly to honor the good side. And even if there have been some people, obviously you shouldn't assault somebody. That's not right at all. But even then, I feel like the benefit that 40 Days for Life does, that they've saved 20,000 people. There are 20,000 people who are living today who would not be alive if not for the actions of 40 Days for Life. I think it means that they are still a worthy organization, even if I have no idea with regards to whether there have been, I mean, I would have to see evidence of that, of course. But even then, I still support 40 Days for Life.
Then it will be Costas Almanar Mole. So Costas.
All right. So we're living in like a really serious time of economic downturn, and there's a shortage of baby formula, as you probably have heard. And I also I'm just interested in what you think about, a lot of people that were against vaccine mandates or COVID restrictions were also people that were against abortion. And I do find that a little bit hypocritical, because the people that are against those mandates or against those restrictions do so because they find that having a certain value in their life important. Don't you think that if the mother or the father or the child bearers, they want their child to have the best quality of life, don't you think that it's important that those child bearers know, like, this isn't a world that a kid should be brought into at this time, because it would just be maybe too hard on the family or too hard on the parents?
Thank you very much for that question. It's a great point. With regard to the COVID vaccine mandates, they're two totally different things. I mean, one of them, the COVID vaccine mandate doesn't affect anybody, or it can be argued it doesn't affect anybody except the person who takes it, whereas an abortion certainly affects the child. So I think there's a big difference with that, regardless of whether you agree with vaccine mandates or not. With regard to bringing a child into the world, I don't think that just because somebody is poor, or a child is poor or inconvenient, or a child comes from a poor family or inconvenient, that they should be like, that the parents should make that decision to destroy this. Like, I don't think a child should be destroyed because it's inconvenient or annihilated because it's unwanted. I mean, the world is full of stories of people who have risen from poor circumstance. And even then, people are often happy, even in circumstances where things are not going as well. I believe that just because somebody is unwanted is not a valid reason to end their existence.
Just to let you guys know, there is 4 minutes left in questioning. So it'll be Almanar, Mole, Cox, Yellum, and Chili.
Just another quick question. First of all, what do you think of Republican lawmakers voting against subsidizing baby formula while they're still advocating for overturning Roe v. Wade? And then have you done any research into pro-choice and why a woman would want to make that decision for herself or themselves? Thank you.
Of course. Thank you very much for the question. With regard to the first, I don't know the reasoning. There's like free market economics. I personally think that of all the things the government subsidizes, baby formula would be an excellent thing to subsidize. Let's see. The second question was, have you done research onto the why people make the choices? Absolutely, I have. There's a lot of different reasons for it. Sometimes it's because they just don't want this. I mean, it's not an easy decision for anybody, and it depends entirely on the person. But I think regardless of, like, a lot of people do regret it too afterwards. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of the water babies that they have in, I think it's one of the countries out in Asia. Buddhist temples have been created, like they have monuments for mothers to come and remember their unborn children. And I think even regardless of what the intent was, it's still not right. Because as I said, we've been referring to it as a child. It's an innocent human being. It doesn't deserve to be annihilated.
Senator Mold and Hall, there's 2 minutes left in questioning.
Present and voting.
So noted at 6:55 p.m. Hall.
I'll defer to Senator Cox. They had their hand longer than me.
Senator Cox.
Just to clarify your response to a previous question, because you did go on for a little bit. Yes or no? Did you say you still support 40 days of life if they have assaulted people?
I said I supported the good parts of 40 Days for Life. I clearly said I didn't support the bad parts. That's kind of saying yes or no to that would be, that's kind of a loaded, like, that's not a question. Like, I had a conditional response. No, I don't support violence whatsoever. But just because some people of 40 Days for Life as an institution does not support violence either. Let me point that out. Just because some people who may or may not have been affiliated with 40 Days for Life committed assault does not mean that the whole organization should be, that all the good that they've done should be thrown down the tubes.
Okay. Sorry, Senator Martinez, I wasn't aware you've had your hand up.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I just had a question. Would you support, this is a hypothetical, but would you support like would you support some kind of commemoration for like mothers who had to have gone through like the unfortunate like situation of having an abortion, or do you not recognize that part of the situation?
I 100% recognize that part of the situation. I don't hold anything that mothers may have done against them for that. I would have no, like, I hold nothing against anybody. And I think that, no, I think a monument to the babies would also be a good thing, but I think that something for that would also be, we can't forget about the mother too. Like,
Sorry, that is the end of time for questioning. We are now in debate. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to get everyone's hands as they go up. So just give me 1 second. I think I went Holmes, Hall, Cox, and then I'll go from there because I didn't see everyone else's hands go up. So we'll go in threes. So we'll start with Senator Holmes.
So I will not be voting in favor of this proclamation because my constituents have made it very clear to me that this is not something that they would want the Senate to support, especially my constituents, my BIPOC constituents as well, and the constituents that have that are part of the lower class and the middle class. And I could go on and on and on, but I'm just going to say that I'm not going to vote in favor of this, and I encourage you all not to as well. Thank you.
And I think I said Hall, Cox, Hall.
Yeah, so I'm voting against this proclamation, but something I do want to preface for everyone here is this is the exact kind of proclamation we need to not be seeing, particularly the types of both speeches and questioning that's been done throughout this. not only has the questioning been directed at Senator Ferguson on a personal level and questions that are unrelated, like, things like baby formula, whatnot, that yes, are valid issues, but in this chamber, what we're dealing with is a resolution honoring 40 days for life. Unfortunately, the sponsor of this proclamation didn't really talk about 40 days for life at all in the speech and set the tone for the rest of this debate. But at the heart of it, this chamber's role is not to decide whether to be pro-choice or pro-life. It's to decide the merits of the proclamation itself. My issues with the proclamation are there is a lot of very warped facts and statistics in here. We've already seen last time around that individuals like Steve Jacobs, who were cited, work for a National Right to Life committee. We know that that this Senate Judiciary Committee was a 3-2 decision and a partisan thing, that the information within the proclamation is both outdated and not factual, or at the very least is warped towards one side versus another. So that's the reason to oppose this in my mind, as well as just recognizing that, again, we're focusing on the group that is being recognized. And I think that we just need to be careful collectively as a body when talking about these discussions. I know that they are heated, I know that they're difficult, but at the same time, our goal is not to legislate being pro-choice or pro-life in this chamber, because I think that sets us on a very slippery slope, especially when, this does open us up to questions at the statewide level of the things that we're talking about and whatnot. So we do need to be cognizant of that. I will be voting it down because this proclamation is not effective. And I think that if you want to see more effective ways of advocacy, look at the proclamations and resolutions that were passed last year in relation to some bills in the Florida legislature. But at the same time, again, I preface with the rest of these speeches to please try to focus on the proclamation itself. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else for debate? I'm going by whoever raises their hand. Senator Cox.
So I'm going to be reading some statements that students asked me to read for them. I am a big supporter of the fact that if it's your body, it's your choice. While I'm not a super religious person, I was raised in a Reformed Jewish community and home with certain identities and cultural ideas. The right to your own body and standing up against injustices you see around you is a big one. Within the Jewish religion, we believe that not only is abortion okay if one chooses to have one, but it is also necessary and mandatory if it puts the birthing parent at risk or harm in any way. The idea that banning abortion is about freedom of religion is a blatant lie. It's about pushing the ideas of one religion while disregarding many others. These bans prohibit me and all Jews from abiding by our religion. And this is from a second student. I am a Satanist. I have been a Satanist for many years, and this faith has given me so much. Satanism has allowed me to reclaim myself from those who have hurt me in the past, given me a real community, and taught me to make better decisions for my mind, body, and the world around me. There are 7 fundamental tenets that govern the belief system of the Satanic Temple. These are guiding principles that influence every action I take, and I carry a copy of them every day to remind me of my dedication to my faith and its practices. The 3rd tenet of the Satanic Temple states that one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. And the 5th tenet states that beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs. This means that every human has domain over what happens to and within their own body. These tenets protect the ability to terminate a pregnancy, as well as the ability to do so in a way that is guided by facts and logic. As pregnancy and the growth of a fetus cause fundamental changes to the human body, if a person does not consent to these changes, it falls under their will and autonomy to be able to have an abortion. This proclamation condemning a pregnant person's right to choose is one that condemns my religion. This attack against my faith is not unusual, unfortunately. I have been verbally attacked, digitally harassed, and an attempt was made to physically assault me, all by people who see my faith as evil and corrupt. To declare that something fundamentally guaranteed in my religion is wrong and immoral is to stand with those who discriminate, who hold prejudice, and those who exist with hatred for any who are different. Now it's me speaking. I can say that as an Irish pagan, it is in my belief system that abortion is natural and required if the fetus is unwanted. It is my belief and the belief of the students I've spoken to about this, that if this proclamation were to pass, it would be discriminatory and inherently stand against the religious freedom values of not just UCF and our student body, but the United States itself.
We will go Sabula, Harrell, Caldwell, then Anderson. Keep in mind, we have about 4 minutes left. So Sabula, you're up.
I think that everyone I'm sorry, there's yard work behind me. I think that everyone already knows their opinions on this resolution, so there's no point in spending more time debating it. So I would personally, I'm going to be voting against it, and I'd like to make a motion to go to voting.
Objection.
There's been an objection. Do you withdraw?
No.
Fine, there is 3 minutes and 49 seconds left in debate, and there are still people that want to speak.
I'll withdraw.
Harrell.
I just wanted to say, like, I have my own personal feelings about pro-choice or pro-life. I'm very pro-choice. But I will say, I know not all of you get the pleasure of having such a small college that I do, but I actually sent out a poll to all 220 of my college peers. And even those who are pro-life looked at the proclamation itself and said that they wouldn't support this proclamation just because, one, they didn't feel statistics were accurately represented, and that that the proclamation itself was just confusing to them, and they didn't think that this was something that they wanted to see UCF support. And I actually talked to quite a few people. So I did send out a poll to my college, so I will be voting against this because, one, they wanted me to, and I am strongly against supporting 40 Days of Life with the controversy and everything going on at the moment.
Caldwell, Anderson, Foster, then Mole.
Yeah, I'll try and keep this brief because we don't have much time for debate. As we said before, this is pretty clearly not what this body should be doing, and merely seeing this type of proclamation drastically undermines the faith that our constituents have in this institution. I'm sure many of you have senators throughout your tenure have realized how little normal students often put their faith in us as a body. They see us all the time as bureaucratic and focusing on things that have no impact on them. This doesn't have an impact on them. Fundamentally, most Americans support pro-choice policy, and that's even more true and overwhelmingly true with college students. Furthermore, I would put out that there's no mandate at this university demanding this kind of thing, regardless of the many factual errors within this proclamation. There's been no call for this kind of action from a majority of the student body. It does not benefit the student body. The senator proposing this did not run on a platform of pro-choice because or pro-life rather, as they ran uncontested for their seat. I yield the rest of my time.
Senator Anderson, and then if we have time, Foster. And
Thank you very much. Just making this very clear, like I was going to echo Chair Hall as well as Caldwell, I will not be supporting this. Very easy.
Senator Foster, Mold, and McClellan. Keep in mind we have 45 seconds.
I wanted to defer to Vice Chair McKellen because he has a dissenting opinion.
Vice Chair McClellan.
Thank you. I would like to make clear at the outset that I am a sponsor of this proclamation. I do believe that abortion is wrong, but I'm not going to be talking about that specifically. I want to say that I'm not so ignorant to recognize the controversy that this brings and seeing that there's going to be more opposition, but I'm going to be supporting it nonetheless because I feel like no matter how small, whether it's 20%, 90%, or 99% that are against this proclamation, there's still some people in this college, at this university, that are for this and want to see this. Statistics are always, there's always a problem with every statistic, whether it be methodology, data, or anything like that.
I'm so sorry, that's time.
I encourage you all to vote for this. Thank you very much.
We are now in voting procedures. I think, Brody.
So to clarify, suggestions on the document do not necessarily equate to amendments. So as no one has made a motion to see any amendments, the suggestions are not amendments, and we can vote on the bill as stated. for clarity, since no amendments have been made and we are going into voting procedures, I'm going to deny all the comments so that it's clear what's being voted on, unless anybody is dramatically opposed to that.
Yes, we are now in voting procedures. I forgot to say that, so sorry, guys.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't think oh, there it is. I'm sorry.
By a vote count of 3 to 37 to 1, Proclamation 5405 does not pass. Okay. Fiscal Committee caucus time. No one notified me they needed caucus time, so none. Fiscal Committee reports, CRT Committee Chair Borges.
Hey guys, in committee, for allocations, we approved allocations 53,302, 54,009, 54,034, 54,041. We postponed allocations 54,036, 042, 043, and 044. We denied allocation 54,045. I want to thank my committee for getting through our hour-and-a-half long meeting with our 13-page agenda, and our account balance is finally under $300,000. Yay!
Any questions for Chair Borges? Chair Hall?
Okay, just I posted in the Zoom thing, but obviously we have a rest of a session to go through. As Sergeant at Arms, I just want to reinforce again, please maintain decorum, especially today. We know the things that we're going to be dealing with today. Like, I will call you out, and if I call you out enough, I will recommend removal, whether it's on Zoom or whatnot. For the people on Zoom, be aware we can see some of you on the giant screen. So understand, especially if you're going to have your camera on and you cannot maintain your own decorum, to please turn your camera off. Because if I have to call you out, I'm going to be very disappointed, but I will. So please, 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 please try to maintain professionality with this, because I don't want to have to talk about this again. I would love for this entire meeting to happen and I don't have to yell decorum once. So please, please try to maintain decorum. Thank you.
Another quick point of information. Sorry if I ever miss hands being raised on Zoom. I'm trying to keep notice of all of it, so I do apologize in advance if I have missed any of you. FAO Committee Chair Millington.
Hey guys, happy Thursday. Sorry for another short and boring report, but we didn't have any funding requests submitted last week, so we didn't meet on Monday. That being said, hopefully some will come through soon, especially as we as senators start sending our emails to our RSOs. So that is something to be excited for, but that is pretty much it.
Any questions for Chair Millington? Seeing none, ORS Committee Chair Temple.
Hi guys, if not sure if you guys can hear me. Perfect. So good evening everybody, and happy APAM. So we saw the following post-funding reviews. I will not read them all individually. That's way too long. We saw the following VPFs, and we saw 2 post-funding forms. In total, we did not sanction 3 individuals. We sanctioned 2 at 5%, 1 at 15 and 20%, postponed 15 reviews, approved 8 VPFs, postponed 4, and approved 2 post-funding forms. That was all.
Any questions for Chair Temple? Okay, seeing none. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, none. Notice of legislation on second reading, none. Internal committee caucus time, no internal committees told me they needed caucus time, so no caucus time. Internal committee reports, ENA Committee Chair Gell.
Everyone. We had a great meeting in ENA. I attached the minutes if you guys want to see. We will be seeing cabinet appointments next week. I'm really excited about that. So if any of you guys would like to come in and watch, you're more than welcome to. We discussed the expectations we have for next week's appointments and emails to inform those individuals who are appointed and when their meeting will be sent out by Monday or by tomorrow. Furthermore, the committee requested a statement for each appointee from the president and vice president, which was provided by them. I sent ENA the screenshots of the email chain. I will attach that in the drive as soon as I can. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or ask.
Any questions for Chair Gell? Okay, seeing none, GAP Committee Chair Hall.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. GAP had a great meeting where we discussed our student interest survey that we're hoping to eventually roll out. That's the survey that we use that y'all have seen in the past, kind of as the main driving force for not just a lot of the activism that you'll see throughout the year and advocacy, but specifically as a basis for things like Day at the Capitol, as well as other ideas that we have in the pipeline to kind of expand that. So we look forward to kind of getting all that ready and sending it out to everyone. So just be on the lookout for that. And yeah, thank you.
Any questions for Chair Hall? Okay. Seeing none, LGR Committee Chair Urea.
Hey everyone. So this week we approved one absence request, denied two, and postponed one blanket excuse. We also, I just remembered this, so that's why it looks so horrible, but we also elected a ENA rep, Senator Patel. Woo! And we saw 3 censures, and we voted that all of these have merit, so therefore we will be hearing those now. And if you would like to refer to last week's minutes, they are linked. Also, everything's hyperlinked with the folder with all the relative documents to that specific censure. Okay. This censure accuses Senator Gell of breaking Title 11 and Senate Rule 3.04. The action being censured is a conversation caught in recording. The conversation states, Senator Gell says, Senator Kira is going to make a motion to postpone this next week. Senator Kiko says, okay. Senator Gell then says, so if you want to do that as well, you know, maybe it would be a good idea to call on him and be like, I'm postponing. For reference, if you want to go look at this, it is from the 14th of April and the timestamps are actually, they're in the folder. And then this was followed by Senator Kira making that motion that was advised to do so by Senator Gell. Specifically, what is being violated or accused of being violated is Title 11, 1100.5, inducing to act. No student government agent shall aid, advise, condone, or in any way induce another to act in violation of any provision in the Golden Rule, Student Body Constitution, or student body statutes. And Senate Rule 3.04 reads, refrain from using profanity or making direct attacks on a student government agent, organization representative, or guest during the Senate meeting. Address student government agents, organizations, representatives, and guests by their respective titles and courtesy and respect. Maintain a professional atmosphere during the Senate meeting. We as LJR committee found using rules and statutes that the censure did have merit. The committee decided that Senator Gell was inducing Speaker Kehoe to call on Senator Kira to make a motion, and the vote count was 4-3-1. I will now be taking questioning as well as the other people of the committee.
Any questions for Chair Urea? Senator Maury, Gell, then Ferguson.
My only question, so the violation, according to statutes, was they violated student code of conduct in the Senate rules. I'm confused at what rule they violated.
Okay. So specifically Title 11, inducing to act. So the committee voted that they believe that there's merit based off the fact that there was advice given to produce a motion to be made. Did I answer your question?
I just have a clarifying question. You said that I advised Senator Cura to make the motion, but attached in those screenshots, I just was wondering where you got that, because based off of the screen or on the screenshots, he was the individual that texted me. So my question is, where did you get the information that I told Senator Cura to make that motion?
Sorry, let me redact that. I meant to make the speaker call on Senator Cura, to advise the speaker to call on Senator Cura, not to force Senator Cura to make a motion. Sorry about that.
Quick point of order, it would be my recommendation that the two parties that were involved within the censures wait till they're given the 10 minutes statutorily given to them to speak, to allow the senators to ask questions. It would be my recommendation, but you guys do not have to follow my recommendation. And then we'll go Senator Ferguson, Costas, Harrell.
My question was already asked, so next one.
And Senator Costas and Senator Harrell.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm following this clearly. Is the censure saying that Senator Gell or Chair Gell was making an advisory statement to Speaker Kehoe or to Senator Cura? Because the texts look like there was an advisory statement made to Cura, but I don't know where the Kehoe thing is coming from.
So it was to Senator Kehoe, and that is in the recording, which the conversation is in the censure. The texts were just something that Senator Gale provided to us to clarify that Senator Cura asked her about the motion. If that answers your question.
Senator Harrell and then Wanjin.
Where is this recording at? And are we linked it or anything like that?
Yep, it's on YouTube. It's on the student government YouTube. It's from the meeting on the 14th of April. And it's the timestamps are also in the censure.
Point of information, are you guys wanting this video recording to be played? Brody?
It was played during the committee meeting as well, just so everyone's aware.
Dila Gwanjin.
Is the censure going to be added, like the actual censure and description, going to be added to the folder that you have linked in the agenda?
It's the recommendation of censure. It's the middle document. Sorry.
Any other questions? Chair Hall?
So just a quick question throughout kind of the deliberations on this censure. Obviously, yes, it meets, I guess, the merits of a censure to come to the floor, but was there discussion about this being put in a non-compliance, or did, like, what is the rationale? And I guess maybe that's a question more for the parties involved of why instead of a non-compliance, we're jumping immediately to censures.
Okay. I can't speak for the filer of the censure. That was not discussed in the meeting, but I would yield that question to the filer.
Chair Temple, did you want to answer that?
Yes, I may. I will. I went straight to a censure because I found that it was not necessarily non-compliances are typically. How can I respond? I'm sorry. I just had the answer, but needless to say, I found it necessary to issue the censure because I found it to be a strong enough, like dereliction, for lack of better terms, in order to make sure that this never happens again. That was my understanding to why I issued this censure. If that answers your question, Chair Hall.
Point of information, a non-compliance can only be filed by certain parties and the filer is not one of them.
Brody?
I have the recording ready whenever you all would like to see it. I'll share my screen so those on Zoom can watch as well.
Do you guys want to see the video before you ask your questions?
I would like to say that these are just questions of the announcement of the censure. We're not really in the process yet where we're talking about this censure. We will be seeing it later. This is just questions initially. So I do want to ask everybody to refrain from too much more questioning unnecessarily right now until we're actually seeing the censure. Thank you.
We'll go Mole, Maury. So Mole.
I see in the censure it says 304. Just so I could review it before we vote on it. Which subsection of Rule 304 is it?
Sorry, give me 1 second so I can see what you're. Okay, so Senator Temple didn't list like a specific part. He just said Senate Rule 3, but let me, hold on. I had it in my, okay. I believe, and Senator Temple can correct me if I'm wrong, but the committee found that maintaining a professional atmosphere was broken during the conversation.
Senator Maury and then McClellan.
What are the what's the necessary requirements for a censure to be like brought to the floor? Like what has to be present for you to be able to put a censure on someone?
So for it to have merit, it has to violate a certain Senate statute or rule.
Sorry. So you just have to reference a certain statute and then it can come to the floor?
Yep.
Okay.
Senator McClellan. Oh, any other questions on this particular one? Okay. Any questions regarding any of the any other questions regarding any of the censures? Okay, will you see these again in miscellaneous business, correct? Just want to confirm. We see them now? Okay, cool.
Sam, am I wrong? But there'll be another round of questioning after the two people speak. Okay.
And the two introducers will each get 10 minutes. They each get those regarding statutes. So Senator Temple will present and then you guys can ask him questions. And then Senator Gale will get 10 minutes and you can ask questions and we'll go to debate. Chair Urea.
Are we playing the video recording before that or after?
That is up to the consensus of Senate. We can either play that during the questioning and give the introducers their time to speak. Senator Ferguson.
I just wanted to point out that traditionally in a court of law, you don't put the evidence in until after the opening statements. So perhaps we should listen to the statements before we do the video, or let Senator Temple present it as part of evidence.
Senator Temple, you have 10 minutes whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good evening, Senate. I know it's quite uncommon to see censures in this body, yet I felt as though the circumstances that led up to the issuance of these recommendations were necessary both for the growth of all of us involved and Senate as a whole. The censures I had issued argued that the offending senator had violated Title 11, specifically 1100.05, the Inducement to Act, and 1100.14, Defense of Personal Interests, wherein she influenced the now former speaker to call upon a specific senator to postpone the confirmation of the appointee to the external legislative assistant, who was a friend to the offending senator. The discussion was picked up during our third recess on the meeting of the 14th of April, 2022, and was thus included in our live stream for the student body to hear. The direct quotations and timestamps are included in the censure. I understand that this was but a snippet of the conversation that was between the senator and between professional and personal friends. Yet this poses a behavior that I find to be unbecoming of a senator, as this pertains to matters that were being seen on the floor and were frankly out of ordinary and a dereliction of parliamentary procedure. as I kept watching and listening to the audio playback, I kept asking myself why they needed to ask the speaker to call upon a certain senator. Wouldn't it make more sense for the speaker to simply call on that senator to naturally, as opposed to being informed beforehand? In due time, I come to the conclusion that the senator sought to advise the speaker on calling upon another senator to postpone the confirmation. I should clarify, although this is true, the senator did not have to use such means to influence the speaker using extrinsic material, as is described in her counter arguments, which is laid out in the file. They did utilize their personal relationship with the former speaker to initiate just such a chain of events as I foresee it, in order to defend their mutual friend who had been grilled before the Senate, which can be noted in the discussion leading up to that to the issue at hand. Indeed, the motion to postpone did immediately occur after the Senate was reconvened from the recess, yet that ultimately failed. Therefore, I found it necessary to issue the censure on the basis of the senator influencing the speaker to circumvent these procedures of the Senate in order to defend their friend. I yield my time.
We are now in line for questioning. Any senators with questions? Harrell, Ferguson, Hall.
Chair Temple, I believe. I was just curious. I mean, you did mention that this was a conversation between her friends she was having on a recess. And you said it's unbecoming of a senator. I was just curious, do you believe that other senators don't do that? I mean, I've overheard many conversations of that. I'm just curious as to why Chair Gell is being held to a higher standard than others. I understand that it was caught on recording, and that makes sense. I'm just curious as to where you stand on that.
To be frank, I would have censured anybody who had performed such actions. It just so happened that Chair Gell's had been caught on recording and thus had shown to the student body what we are not. That's, if that answers your question at all. But it was simply, and even if somebody else had done that in the past, it doesn't make up for this incident as we speak. But to reiterate, I would have done this for anybody else. But it just so happened that Senator Gell's was caught on recording for all the student body to see. That was my justification for issuing a censure against her.
Senator Ferguson, then Hall.
Thank you for being here, Chair Temple. You mentioned defense of personal interests. Now, we had a hearing on this yesterday. Why didn't you mention defense of personal interests in the censure hearing yesterday?
To be frank, I just simply forgot about the matter, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just very nervous about this whole thing. But as I stated, I had mentioned all of Title 11, and I had simply forgot to put 1100.14 into my censure. But I had come to the conclusion that that she was trying to protect her friend on the matter. But again, I just simply forgot to put it in. So that's on me.
Senator Hall, then Gal.
Two quick questions, if I can. Is that all right? All right. So the first one, Chair Temple, is at any point in time, did you either reach out to Senator Gell to express your concerns prior to the censure? And did you reach out potentially someone like Speaker Custis to look into something like a non-compliance for this?
So I had not reached out to either individual, and I filed the censure, I believe, before Senator Custis came into her office. And as Dean Lack-Wungen stated, I cannot issue a non-compliance.
And then just as a follow-up, when you made the decision to make this censure, did you consult with anybody about forming this censure, or was this entirely of your own volition to make this censure?
It was entirely of my own volition.
Senator Gell, then Holmes.
I would like to say Jason Taché has had his hand up on Zoom longer than I had my hand up, so I will yield my time to him first.
Sorry, Jason.
It's okay. I know this is very confusing to have us on Zoom. My question is just, did it matter to you specifically that it was the speaker for example, if Senator Gell had given advice that you deemed unethical to, you know, whoever just happens to sit next to her in the Senate, but it wasn't the person with the most power in the Senate, would that have elevated it to the standard of a censure, or would you have just kind of brushed that off?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question? I don't think it quite registered.
Does the problem with the ethics lie within the fact that the advice that she gave was to the speaker, not just to a regular person? Because I think we've all given each other advice in here before, but maybe not everyone has given advice that you would deem unethical to specifically the speaker.
Yes, I did find it quite unbecoming that she was giving direct advice to the Speaker of the Senate.
Did you still have a question?
Yes,
we'll go
I did.
Gell, Holmes, then Spalding.
So, hi Temple. I'm sorry that you are nervous. I hope that I do not make you any more nervous. But my question is, you mentioned that you came to the conclusion that I was trying to protect Jacob Bertram. But how did you come to that conclusion that I was trying to protect Jacob without ever talking to me? I'm asking, what evidence did you have to come to the conclusion that my intention was to protect Jacob Bertram?
My conclusions came off of my own personal deductions on the matter, and from like statements that had been made, and from observations that I had known prior, because I understood that you and Bertram were very close friends, even going back to the 53rd session. So I had just, so I had come to that conclusion, knowing that if you two had been great friends, then you would have been able, and would have gone and would have been able to wanted to defend each other, and you are right. It was a dereliction on my part to not reach out to you. I am very sorry on the matter.
A follow-up, if I may.
You may.
So you came to the conclusion that I was trying to defend Jacob based off of your own perception of my relationship with him without ever asking the extent of that relationship. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Holmes, then Spalding.
Hi, Ethan. I just wanted to, I'm so sorry, Chair Temple. I just want to ask, where was the hesitancy on asking why you didn't ask Senator Gell? And was that because you questioned her merit, or was there another reason?
This is the first time I've had to issue a censure before, and it was like so many things were happening at the time I was issuing it. For example, I was studying for exams. And it was like I was very nervous in trying to prepare this and prepare all the arguments. So I could chalk it up to being an oversight, but at the same time, I'm sorry, I just lost what I was going to say. So disregard that last point.
Spalding, and then Ferguson.
Hi, okay, I want to clarify a couple of things before I ask my question. The video, when you click on the Censure One link, there's a video of a text communication. This is between Chair Gell and Senator Kira, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so what the censure is about is Senator Gell inducing or persuading Senator Kira to make a motion or something, basically make a motion to, at that time, Speaker Kehoe, right? I just want to make sure I'm understanding before I ask I don't want to ask a question that's not relevant to what we're seeing.
So the video recording was just because someone asked to see the timestamps on that and the date, just in case something wasn't like doctored, I guess. So she sent a video to prove the time and the date of the conversation. But what is actually like being censored is the conversation that is on YouTube, not anything that was said over text.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Thank you.
Ferguson.
So looking at the timestamp, this took place when like on the Senate YouTube when it was like the camera was blacked out. How did you hear about Senator Gell's statement?
If it's my understanding, you're asking how I managed to hear Senator Gell's voice, the student's voice. Sorry.
Well, I'm pointing out that this conversation took place on the Senate. Like, you look at the Senate YouTube channel, it's blacked out, which means, I mean, you can hear conversations in the backgrounds, but most people, I would guess, skip it. So I'm just wondering, like, how did you come across the conversation?
I had heard several students talk about the what was stated in the video, and I decided to have my own what's the term, like dive into it. And after playing it a few times, I was able to hear the difference between Senator Gell's voice and the rest of the din from the recess. And I was able to transcribe that directly and note the timestamps directly, which is why you're able to see the verbatim quotes within the censure, as well as the timestamps included.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. We will go Uriah Hall, Yalaman, Chili, Harrell.
I don't have a question, but can I provide a point of information? Okay. So I just want to say that the censure is based off of if you believe, or how do I word this? We voted on if it had merit against a specific statute or a Senate rule. So as far as like morally, if you think like the conversation was wrong, I would just refer and base your interpretation off of the Senate rules and statutes, because that's really what is being decided on, I guess.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you had heard about the recording through other students. So kind of just to ask then, prior to the submission of this censure, did you speak to other students, obviously outside of Senator or Chair Gell? Did you speak to them about the censure in any capacity, whether supportive, not supportive, whatnot? Or did you make this decision outside of the fact that you had heard about the conversation from other students?
I had discussed them with a few students, but they just raised concerns about it, and I had taken it upon myself to issue those censures because their concern mixed with my own personal beliefs about how an institution like this should be upheld resulted in these censures.
Okay. Yalaman, Chili, Harrell, Spalding, is that still a question?
My hand is down.
Yalaman, Chili, Harrell, Gell, and Mole.
Hello, Chair Temple. You cited chapter 1100.5 of Title IX as the basis of your censure, which says, inducing to act, no student government agent shall aid, advise, condone, or any way induce another to act in violation of any provision in the Golden Rule, student body constitution, or student body statutes. What made you feel that the action that Senator Gell was recommending Speaker Kehoe to do, what made you feel that that action was in violation of any provision in the Golden Rule, student body constitution, or the student body statutes?
So we as senators have a duty to act in good faith and act openly and with regard to those key documents. And listening to a senator speak up to a leader of a branch and advise them to do something that would have otherwise been either performed naturally or not at all performed, I found to be rather unbecoming of sorts. And it was a breach in that trust and that upholdance to those statutes, if that makes sense.
Harrell, Gell, Mole.
Yeah, sorry. I have two questions, if that's okay. Cerisi, is that okay? No, you're all good. You had mentioned that you did in fact talk to students prior to sending in the censure. And I was just curious as to if you'd feel comfortable mentioning said students, because I feel like that might help us understand as to why you were not pushed, because you said this was on your own, but conversating into putting the censure forward. That's the first one.
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question? I'm so sorry. I'm very, very nervous about this whole thing.
No, you're all good. I totally understand. I was just curious, you had mentioned that you did in fact talk to students prior to sending in the censure, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind saying said students, because I feel like that might give credibility as to the concerns you said multiple people were having.
So if I can recall, I don't remember them being at all open to that. I'm so sorry. I'm really blanking here, but it's been a long while, and even if they were to, they wouldn't probably be at all comfortable in the matter. They were very concerned about like having their identities disclosed, so they weren't at all open to it.
Okay, no worries. And then my second question is, nope, I forgot. So never mind. Gail?
Yes, I have two questions, if I may. Chair Cerisi. Okay, awesome. So Senator Temple, you said that you created this on your own volition. However, my question is, the censure was a Google Doc that was owned by Nick Foster. My question is, why is the Google Doc owned by Nick Foster?
I had asked Senator Foster to help me create a censure document because I simply didn't know how to create one. He created it in his own drive, and then he sent it over to me. I had told him about this, but he didn't provide any sort of advice towards writing this censure. If that's of any concern, I just simply asked him to help me create a document of this sort because I am technologically illiterate.
So my follow-up to that is, so you are saying that Nick Foster gave you no advice, gave no input, gave no opinion on this specific incident. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so my follow-up question is, what is being said is that I influenced or tried to induce the speaker to make a decision. How does one influence a decision without any persuasion or any means of persuasion through verbal or through verbal persuasion? Because unfortunately you cannot see any body language in the clip, you can only hear words. So my question now is, how would one persuade something without verbally communicating that?
If I can look back at that censure itself, sorry, I have a lot of stuff on the computer right now. I believe you had stated, so you said, quote, if you want to do this as well, maybe it would be a good idea to call on him. That to me was what sounded like persuasion, saying that it would be a good idea to call on him and say that he is postponing. Saying like, so anybody, an idea is an idea, but for you to actively convince them to get what you want out of it, you would say it is a good idea, or it is a wonderful idea if you do this. So that particular quote right there was what got me to write this censure to begin with.
Last follow-up, if I may, Chair.
Last one, we do have limited time because we leave at 9:30, so please make it.
Absolutely. So I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. You are saying that because I said something was a good idea, that was me convincing and persuading the speaker to act one way or another?
To me, yes, that is exactly that.
Mo?
May I direct a question towards Attorney General Soto?
Yes.
Okay, so believe me if I'm wrong, but the only things that we are allowed to consider, because they're the only sections that are brought up in the censure, are Title 11 and Senate Rule 3. Well, actually, just Senate Rule 304.
So both statutes are referenced. The statute in question here is that Daisy Gell, Senator Gell, chose to act to induce then Speaker Kehoe to act in violation of the statute being referenced, which is Senate Rule 3. So while you're voting on Title 11, I know this is incredibly confusing, you must take into consideration Senate Rule 3, because that is what it's being alleged that she was inducing Senator Kehoe then to break or violate.
Make it quick, please.
So nothing aside from those.
I don't see why you would.
Senator Cox, Holmes, Foster.
Okay, I think I raised my hand last, but it is a point of information. I just wanted to say that okay, point of information, you do not have to answer a question if you do not want to. That goes for both of you. They said that during a previous censure, and I don't think that they said it during this one. So I just wanted to let both of you know.
Holmes, Foster, then McClellan.
Another point of information that I know Senator Gell, Chair Gell mentioned influence, but rhetoric can be fall under influence because it is language. So just to let y'all know. So.
Is there a motion for a non-committee member to speak? AG Soto.
Thank you. I was listening to the debate and I didn't mention anything because I didn't see anything that veered too off the track for me to intervene. But after someone came up to me, I would like to remind the Senate that the issuer has the ability to speak for an undetermined amount of time in statutes. They're not limited to 10 minutes. Only Senator Gell, has that 10-minute limit. So that's up to you, Speaker, and the rest of the Senate. How much longer would you allow Senator Temple to speak for?
Okay. I believe the 10-minute speaking time was just for his speech. That doesn't include questioning. Senator Holmes, Foster, or Uriah.
Okay, sorry, this is my first censure. I'm sorry, I missed that the party issued is the only one that should be speaking. So it doesn't state in Title 11 that the party issuing has the right to speak.
Brody, sorry.
He does. After the LJR committee speaks, then the issuer the filer has the ability to speak after that.
Okay.
I promise it's in there. I can go look it up real quickly if you'd like.
Thank you.
So just for clarification purposes, for the next censures, does the party issuer need to speak first and then Ethan for the next one, correct?
No. So I'm just going to read it really quickly. After the explanation of the LJR committee's decision is read, the LJR committee and any member of the LJR chair and any member of the committee is open for questioning. The issuer has the ability to speak after the statements made by the LJR chair and has the right to refrain from answering any questions they choose. So after the LJR chair, then the issuer, then the accused.
Sorry for the confusion.
Okay. Foster, McClellan, Hall.
So this is like a point of information. I did not help Chair Temple write this censure in any way, shape, or form. If you go to the earliest version of the document that was created by me, it was originally created for Jacob Bertram, but he resigned. So I did print out a censure for him, but he resigned before I could give it to him. So Ethan asked for my help to get the template for the censure because I told him I was going to censure Jacob. So I just provided the template for him. So if you want to go look at the document, you can look at the earliest version. It's for Jacob Bertram.
McClellan, Hall, and Harrell.
So my question, may I direct a question to the Attorney General?
You may.
So it's in Title 11 that it's a 1100-05 inducing to act against like a Senate rule and violating one of the Senate rules, Constitution, and stuff like that. Does what happened after, like the induced to call on Senator Cura, does that actually violate what was it, 3.04C, maintaining a professional atmosphere? I believe that is what is being what was induced to being violated of. Sorry if that's confusing.
Thank you for that question. I'm sorry, Speaker. May I direct a question to the LGR chair?
You may.
Thank you. So please correct me if I'm wrong. Originally, the charge was that Daisy, Senator Gell, I keep getting confused, was to be found in violation, or there was merit for this Senate to consider whether Senator Gell were to be found in violation of inducing Senator Kehoe to act in violation of a provision of statutes. There's a secondary concern that you bring up, or the LJR committee brings up, about Senate Rule 3. Are those two separate?
I think that the committee based it. So in the censure, it says this constitutes a violation of Title 11. And in the censure, the recommendation being issued, Ethan puts Senate Rule 3.04, but that is not referenced again in the document. So I would believe that the committee based it solely off of Title 11 then.
So to answer your question then, Senator Foster. Oh, sorry, got them confused. I believe that your question was asking whether it was only whether it was Senate Rule 3. Is that correct?
My question is, because the violation of 1105 says that it has to violate, the inducing has to be in violation of, it's 3.04 that is alleged. Does what happened when Speaker Kehoe called on Senator Cura after being induced, is that calling on actually a violation of 3.04?
I'm going to simplify the concern because I think that there is a simpler way of answering your question. Senator Kehoe did not need to act in order for Senator Gell's inducement to that action to be considered by this body. So Senator Gell's alleged action to induce Senator Kehoe did not need to result in Senator Kehoe actually taking any action that would break Senate Rule 3. Because the LJR chair just clarified that only the LJR committee only may base their decision on Title 11, that is what the LJR committee is presenting to this body, and that is what's up for consideration.
Senator Hall.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, without, it's not a question, but just for the chamber, in the interest of time, we have an hour and a half left before we have to leave the chamber, and we have not gotten past the first party introducing the censure, and we have two more on top of two confirmations and multiple bills to do. At this point, I think we realistically need to look at postponing certain things, because obviously these censures need to take precedent over the other things. But I just wanted to make it clear that, you know, at this point, if we continue to have more and more questions here, we're just cutting our ability to ask questions in other censures that we have coming up.
Senator Costas.
Just wanted to double check. We're supposed to hear from Chair Gell regarding the censure too, right?
We hear her next.
Okay. I just feel like we should hear what she has to say before we keep these questions going, so we can get a broader picture of the full story.
Senator Caldwell, then Mole.
May I retain?
Do we have to move to go into Gil? No. It's when there's no more questions.
Okay. Then I have a pretty simple question for Chair Temple in that case. Sorry. Senate or 304 specifically mentions a few things that are in violation of it. the use of profanity, being disrespectful towards student government agents, not maintaining a professional atmosphere, debate only on issues, and paying attention. So whether or not Senator Gill moved to act, how is this a violation of that if they induce them? But I don't know what action violates this.
Okay, so the specific clause was, I can pull it up right here, 304C, maintain a professional atmosphere. So the way I interpreted it was that, seeing as she was trying to induce Speaker Kehoe, it broke the manner of professionalism for senators to respond with the speaker. So therefore, I found that to be the ultimate reason why I included 304 in this censure.
Is there a motion for a non-committee member to speak?
Please excuse me, Speaker. So Brody made it clear that what I intended to say wasn't what I said. Let me be very clear. If I go to Attorney General Mickey Mouse and I tell him that he needs to go right now and buy me 500 sneakers because I'm hungry, and that somehow falls in violation of statute, that would be a violation. So it is the inducement what's being considered here.
Any other questions? Senator Maury?
Okay, so that means that just asking him to do that is enough for her to be censured. Is that what we're saying? I don't
Brody?
So Jan, definitely call me out if I'm not interpreting your words, but I believe what Jan is trying to say is that the action that is being allegedly induced has to be a violation. So if in the same scenario, what Daisy was saying to Nathan was, you should definitely get some Qdoba, and was inducing him to go and get Qdoba during the recess, that would not be a violation, right? The action that is being induced has to be a violation of statutes for the inducement to be a violation of Title 11. Does that make sense?
No more questions? Awesome. So you get 10 minutes to speak. So you have 10 minutes whenever you are ready.
Hi, everyone. So I dropped my speech because it also contains screenshots and evidence of what I say in the meeting agenda. If you see Daisy Gale's speech for the first censure, it is that. So hi, everyone. I believe it is integral to note that former Speaker Nathan Kehoe and I have an established relationship outside of Senate. We are good friends and we have worked alongside each other since the beginning of fall before I came into Senate. We had a student government relationship, but we also have a professional relationship as we are both RAs in the same building, but moreover, we are friends. What Senator Temple wrote and why I should be censured is an assumption of the situation, and this snippet only shows a portion of the conversation and context of that evening. It should be noted that Senator Kira texted me during this meeting. All the screenshots are in the document if you would like to look. Senator Kira, Nathan, and myself all have an established relationship outside of Senate. Seeing as Senator Kira is new, he would ask Nathan and I questions because he was trying to understand Senate and how we functioned. A lot of new senators ask some returning senators some questions and who they trust and believe. With the ELA confirmation, Senator Kira was unaware of what happened between Pro Tem Cerisi, Bertram, and Magda Yarrow. I have screenshots that I have attached of Senator Kira saying Senator Temple's speech was a lot. Senator Kira was overwhelmed and was confiding in me. This is not a violation. To seek advice and counsel from another senator is not a violation. Furthermore, Senator Kira also texted me and asked if it was possible to postpone ELA confirmations. Senator Kira texted me first. I had told him that I was going to make that motion as well. I wanted to make the motion before Senator Kira texted me, but we both wanted to make the same motion. I had then seen in the group me some senators were frustrated with me being called on more than other senators, so I was planning on letting Senator Kira make that motion. I did not tell this to Senator Kira or Speaker Kehoe. Rather, I had a conversation about me being called on more than other senators with Senators Taché and Costas. I understood their frustration because they wanted to voice their concern, and I asked how I could help and if they were angry at me. They were not upset at me, but I understood it was unfair to them, so that I was not going to make the motion, but allow Senator Kira, who had not spoken that evening, to make that motion. I never once forced Senator Kira to make that motion. In the text, you can see this. I told him to do whatever he wanted to do. I would like to note that this evening, Senator Costas also came up to me and was voicing his frustration with Bertram. Whether or not I agreed with him, I did tell him to speak his truth and that his voice mattered. I am not one to sit here and apply groupthink, and I understand it is a body. No one person can dictate a meeting, and I've never displayed that behavior. The same thing with Senator Temple. After he read Magda Darrow's resignation speech, he was outside of the chamber, talking to Senator Almanar and myself. Senator Temple was talking poorly on Jacob, and at this moment, I did not agree, but I told him to speak his mind, and then I walked away. Furthermore, as for me informing Speaker Kehoe of Senator Kira's motion, in that I said, if you want. I wasn't telling him to do so. I never bribed him or induced, which induced means to persuade. The statute Temple believes I broke was inducing to act. To induce means to succeed in persuading or influencing someone to do something. The definition of persuade is to cause someone to do something through reasoning or argument. I did not argue, and I did not give reason. Furthermore, the statute also does mean advice. Because Nathan and I have a strong relationship, I was giving him my opinion as options as a friend. I did not say I will pay you. I did not say I will buy you dinner or do your laundry. I said, if you want. I did not say why this motion should go through. Therefore, I did not try to influence the speaker or persuade him in one direction or another. Also, this statute states to act in violation with Golden Rule, Student Body Constitution, and Student Body Statutes. The motion to postpone would have not have violated any of these entities. I did not break Sunshine Law, and I did not violate the Code of Ethics. Therefore, this censure holds no merit. It was a high emotion evening. And like I mentioned, I am great friends with Nathan. I could tell by his body language and facial expression how overwhelmed he was. Nathan did not realize the speech Ethan Temple gave of Cheska's resignation speech. He stated that in his resignation speech and how he felt. And that resignation speech shifted the energy in Senate. I truly felt the energy change. Debate was not shuttered as we went into circle debate. Nathan nor myself can make these decisions. However, all I did was voice another senator's intentions to postpone the confirmation and let the floor decide. Continuing, I ended up abstaining on the vote of electing Bertram as ELA because I understood my conflict of interest with the situation as a whole. It was mentioned my bias due to my relationship with Jacob Bertram. However, we do all have biases, and that is why I abstained, because I did understand my bias. I do my very best to uphold integrity, and it is unfair to say that I was not letting the body speak their truth when I've gone out of my way to encourage senators to speak their truth, even if I did not fully agree. I wish Senator Temple would have communicated this with me so that I could alleviate any worries he had about this. Had this conversation occurred, maybe he could have understood the context more instead of making an assumption of my intention, and the situation would have been alleviated because I did not break statutes. If he had communicated with me and still felt what I did was wrong, I can understand his censure. However, the assumption of the series of events is unfair to me and unfair to this body. Whereas Temple states the motion is in order to safeguard Senator Bertram and his confirmation to the office of ELA. He makes this claim about me safeguarding Jacob Bertram without any evidence or description of what he meant by this. He fails to provide a reason to believe my intention was to safeguard Jacob, whereas my intention was not this. My intention was to allow the body to get more information on the situation so that we can make a clear decision. I would like to note that Senator Temple today admits he did not communicate with me and made this decision based off of his own perception. As a body, it is not fair to us to accept something that has no evidence but the perception of one individual. The violation to induce to act must be followed by an action which breaks code of conduct, golden rule, student government statutes, and constitutions, which this motion would not have. Lastly, in LJR, there was some confusion as to whether or not this is considered part of Senate being in session, but I will leave you with this. If this is considered part of a meeting on public record, Sunshine's Law is not applicable. However, if it's decided it is not considered a part of a Senate meeting, then what I said did not display how I felt about the situation. It does not show you whether or not I was in favor of Bertram being confirmed as ELA. All this shows you was me saying the option to postpone is available. Anyone would have known the option to postpone is an available option. It does not break statutes. And due to the circle debate, I decided to amplify the voice of senators who were suggesting and wanting more information. Attached below, I have attached the screenshots between Senator Kira and I. Yes, his name is Senator Kira. I did that because I was friends with him before and I was really happy he became a senator. So I changed his name to that. And as you can see, he said, did you know what happened with Temple's speech? That was a lot all at once. The next screenshot, which I also sent a video to LJR showing that these screenshots were valid and that I did not make them up and they were all timestamped. He said, is it possible to postpone the vote to next week? I said, I was going to ask that. Ask the speaker if we can. He said, I'm going to say, can I direct a question to Speaker Kehoe? Are we able to postpone the vote until next meeting? I said, yeah, but back it up. He said, okay. And I said, by saying it was a high emotional meeting. He said, I will. And then I said, or do whatever you think. Because at the end of the day, I was not trying to induce someone. I was trying to give guidance and reassurance. I will yield the rest of my time to questions.
We will go Wanjin, Holmes, Patel, and then I'll go for you three next. So we'll go Wanjin, Holmes, Patel. Yes.
Can we get the video played, please?
He was going to make a motion to postpone this to next week.
Okay.
So if you want to do that as well, I think it might be a good idea if you're calling in, just be like, just call me. He just wants to postpone it. We still have 3 other confirmations.
Mhm.
And this shit-
Senator Holmes, then Patel, then Harrell.
Hi, Chair Gell. Just a question because I know your speech is pretty lengthy, but I just want to keep it straightforward towards the conversation that was in question. Do you believe that using the positive connotation of good in front of a suggestion is persuasion, and that would fall under the category of persuasive rhetoric?
If I say these walnuts are good, I'm using good in the same context as I was using there. In terms of persuasion, no, I do not believe it is persuasive to say something is good. That is my opinion, but I do not believe it is persuasive.
You mentioned a statement, but I am talking about a more of a suggestion, not a declarative statement.
I still do not think it is persuasion.
Thank you.
Patel, then Harrell, then Borges.
Hi, Chair Gell. I just want to ask, you said you were not trying to protect Bertram. So then can you explain why you thought postponing was a good idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So some senators on the floor were asking for more information that we did not have. Unfortunately, we did not have the entire information of the situation. It was a situation that was brought on the floor. Not enough information was given. In my opinion, I knew some of the situation, but I found out a lot of events as well on the floor like the rest of us. And I also felt that it was important for me to get more information to decide how I wanted to vote as well. However, after really deciding and really thinking, I understood whether or not I got more information. I do have a relationship with Jacob Bertram, and I did not want that to influence my vote. Therefore, I abstained. However, I was doing it for the body and for senators who had voiced that they wanted more information, not to safeguard Jacob Bertram.
Senator Harrell, then Borges, then Foster.
Sorry, I have a clarifying question for whoever can answer it, I guess. The video recording is kind of like in and out. Was the statement that was made saying if you want to postpone it, I think it would be a good idea? I'm just confused because it was restated like 5 different ways, and I'm just trying to hear the wording, if that makes sense.
Chair Uriah, I'll let you answer.
So Senator Ferguson asked Daisy if it was her voice, and she said yes. And I'm pretty sure, but you can correct me if you're wrong, you're saying that as well. The conversation that is quoted on the censure is correct as well.
Yes, it was my voice. And if you want to do that as well, yes, what is said here was my voice. I will take accountability for that.
Or, oh, yes.
That didn't answer my question.
Saying that the conversation is also right as well, or else that would have been brought up by Daisy.
Okay,
Yeah, like the what is that called? The transcript of the conversation is correct.
I will give, if anyone just wants me to state it, Senator Gell said, you got it? Okay, cool. Then we'll go Borges, Foster, Ferguson.
Point of information, former Speaker Kehoe did end up calling on Senator Kura after the recess, and Senator Kura did end up making the motion to postpone.
Senator Foster, then Ferguson.
Yeah, that was my question right there, was whether Senator Kehoe called on Kura after the reset.
Senator Ferguson.
You said that you help out senators with like Senate business or whatever. I assume you've done that with more. I assume that you like to help out newer senators such as Senator Kura.
Is your question whether I like to help new senators? Okay. Yes, I am always open. I actually, when I was vice chair of SBA, I allowed senators, if they needed help, to come and ask me for help. I am definitely a resource. Yeah, that was, and Senator Kura and I have an established relationship. So like anyone in here who has an established relationship with someone, they're going to ask them for help as well.
Are there any other questions for Senator Gell? Cox?
You mentioned during your speech, the only thing you said in regards to sunshine law was, I did not break sunshine law. Could you explain why you believe you did not break sunshine law?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was confused by the LJR committee, to be quite frank, because during these meetings that was discussed about whether I would break sunshine law or not. However, it is live streamed, and that argument was made that since it is live streamed, it is public record, therefore sunshine law could not be violated. So that is why I said that. However, the LJR committee, from my perception and my interpretation, did not come to a conclusion as to whether or not this specific incident was in Senate business or not in Senate business. I hope that answers your question, but my intention for that was, I just went off of what was said by someone in LJR, that it was not breaking sunshine law, and I believe that to be true.
Senator Patel.
So were you aware that your conversation with Nathan Kehoe was being recorded?
Honestly, I'm going to be so honest. When I walked up to his thing, I saw the red light on, and I probably subconsciously was aware because I recognized it, but consciously I did not know that.
So considering that you're consciously aware that your conversation was not being recorded, would you have continued that conversation knowing you're violating sunshine law?
Can you repeat that question?
So I was confused by your first answer, whether you knew the conversation was being recorded or not. But I'm going to go with that you didn't, or Nathan Kehoe and you as a whole did not know that your conversation was being recorded on a hot mic. So carrying out that conversation, you had technically would have been violating sunshine law.
I guess that's a hypothetical, honestly. You were saying if we carried out that conversation, the conversation was not carried out because that was never my intention to persuade, if that is what you are asking. But I will choose, based off of my right per chapter 909.3, I'm choosing not to continue to answer that question.
Just a reminder, we have an hour and 15 minutes left in Senate and 2 other censures to see. I will go Foster, Wanjin, Mole, and then I would recommend we go to debate.
May I direct a question to Senator Kura?
You may.
You were called on right after the recess. So my question to you is, did Senator Gell or Chair Gell have any type of influence on you making that motion? What was the reason for you to make that motion and ask her for that advice on whether you can make that motion?
So I'm not very good with public speaking. And it was more of, I wanted to try to break out of the shell to speak up in Senate. Even though it was a very intense meeting, I was still very stressed, but I was just asking to make sure if I was allowed to do certain rules or if I could do certain things like postpone that. I hope that answers your question.
Do you like Wanjin?
Hi, so did you or did you not state before we recessed during that Senate meeting not to talk about any business that could be seen on the Senate floor because of sunshine law?
Yeah, I do not remember that. So I'm going to say no, but I very much could have. If you bring up the recording or maybe the context of it a little bit more, I could probably defend it, but truthfully, I do not remember saying that.
Senator Mole, and then Urea.
Yeah, I had a question for AG Soto and he walked out.
Chair Urea.
Just point of information, we had to look back at the minutes to look if Senator Kira made the motion, and Senator Gill, that was in the minutes that she said that. What Katrina pointed out.
Senator Gill.
I just want to ask the body if anyone remembers, what did someone say that Senator Kira was called on immediately after the recess? So, my question is, I guess, who said that, and is that portrayed from actual evidence of the live recording?
I stated that in the agenda, right after the recess reconvened, the first line was Kira motioning for postpone, and it went to pro and con against Ferguson.
May I respond?
You may.
So you're just going based off of what the agenda said on timelines and not the live recording when you said that statement that Kira was called on immediately?
I said immediately in the agenda, it follows. But if you want me to, I could check the recording and check what time.
May I respond?
You may.
Okay, from my understanding of the recording and watching it last, Senator Kira was not called immediately after recess convened. Other senators were called on before. However, we both don't exactly know. So if someone wants to check that, but from my understanding, what Senator Patel, Chair Patel, I apologize, is saying that Senator Kira was called on immediately after the recess, I believe is false.
Chair Urea.
Can I make a motion to move to debate?
You may.
Move to debate.
We are now in debates. Okay. Mole, Caldwell, Ferguson, Hall.
May I direct a question towards AG Soto?
You may.
So because of what you said that you didn't see any reason why we should consider anything other than Title 11 and Senate Rule 304. There's a discussion about sunshine law, but since that's not in the censure, that's irrelevant to this conversation. Is that correct?
Yes, I don't think there is any violation of sunshine law occurring. So even if the Senate wished to consider it, I wouldn't advise that the Senate should consider sunshine law.
Caldwell, Ferguson, Hall.
Yeah, I think after hearing most of what's been discussed here, the glaring issue is that while Chair Gill did induce, at least in my understanding of it, the thing that was induced doesn't really appear to be a violation. The idea that it's a violation of professionalism is incredibly shaky to me. It was just an advice on how proceedings should go in the chamber. I voted against the postponement to kind of clear myself of any suspicion on that. I didn't think we should postpone it, but the idea that just saying, oh yeah, no, you think you should do this? This is a good idea. You should go ahead and present that without saying, I want this to pass or whatnot, or I'm going to vote this way. Doesn't really seem like an inducement for any personal gain or another person's gain. It's purely saying to the speaker, hey, these things are happening, just so you know. Same thing if I went up to Speaker Kehoe after that meeting and voiced the concerns I had about senators, going uncalled on for a large portion of that meeting. And things like that have already been brought up to our new speaker multiple times. Like, oh, in past, we've had issues with this. Let's make sure, to keep things quick with debate, and also to make sure everyone has, their staff respected throughout the Senate meetings. I just don't see this as a violation of professionalism. And because of that, I don't really think we should be enacting this censure.
Ferguson, Hall, Almanar.
I will just say I will definitely not be voting for this. Looking at there's a truckload of problems here. I mean, the story, Senator Temple's story has changed between now and what it was. Yet during the censure meeting, the accusations were Title 11.005. I asked what section of the student, like the what was it? The UCF student constitution, all those rules, and the statement that was brought up was section 11.0004, which Senator Temple said he should have put on there, which was something like, well, no, maybe it was 14. I don't know, but I think it's listed as 4. But even then, when you look at it, this is entirely on very, very shaky ground. We're just adding charges that weren't put in there. There's no statute listed in the Golden Rule, Student Body Constitution, or student body statutes that's listed to be violated. And then finally, how did this even come up? Like, Senator Temple said that anonymous sources told him that Senator Gell made the statement, but this statement was made on YouTube during a blackout. Like, you can hear people talking, but there was no business going on. Most people would have skipped it. And Senator Temple also said that he had to wait. He had to listen to it 3 times, listen to the video 3 times to find this. I believe this is a waste of time. I think that I don't think Senator Gell committed any offenses that can be proven in this censure against the student body senate.
Okay, we will go Hall, Wanjin, Almanar, then Yalom and Chili.
Yeah, so this is difficult. It's difficult because I have a lot of respect for both Chair Gell and Vice Chair Temple. Obviously, Vice Chair Temple is my vice chair, as well as Chair Temple. But I cannot help but feel that there is intentionality to these censures. To note, 3 censures is grounds for removal. And we understand that there have been issues with different senators throughout this session, and I cannot help but feel that there is intentionality in the fact that we're looking at 3 censures towards the exact same person, with the realistic intention that then a removal motion would be made for the senator. I feel like there is coordination. I think, Senator Ferguson said that in a much nicer way, but I'm speaking as candidly as possible. Not only do I not think it's censurable, but the fact that this was not discussed with Senator Gell speaks to a larger cultural problem I think we have as a chamber, is the fact that we can't even talk to each other about these things, that we feel the need to go through these extreme lengths because we have a dislike for somebody or that we feel a certain way about somebody. There was nothing stopping either party from getting involved to talking to Speaker Custis or someone else who can do a non-compliance. There was nothing really stopping anybody from doing anything to prevent reaching the censure level, because I don't believe it merits censure. I, again, do feel the fact that we know that there are issues between different senators in this chamber, and that I do believe that there is intentionality between why we're looking at specifically 3, especially when 2 censures have to do with the exact same day and the exact same session and the exact same live stream recording. Why that wasn't 1 censure in total when it could have been comprehensive, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think that this is an appropriate use of censure. I think Senator Caldwell said it well of the shaky ground of it. I also think, again, is there merit for non-compliance? Sure. I think that we should expect people to hold a moral standard with each other of how we conduct ourselves professionally. But at the end of the day, just to put it bluntly, y'all cast the first stone. Anybody in here is going to tell me that y'all did not go out into that chamber, especially that day of all sessions when we were as emotionally charged as possible, and not say things that you probably regret in hindsight. Like, I'm just being realistic here that yes, it is unfortunate that it was caught on live stream, and that's where the issue comes in. But let's not pretend like we're all high, pious, and mighty about the situation, because I think that's unfair to ourselves. And I think that we're kidding ourselves if we're trying to pretend like none of us have said things that we regret or think things that we regret or have made decisions that in hindsight we probably should not have made in the moment. I just think at the end of the day, it was a very unfortunate session that we had, but to hold one specific senator accountable for all of the questionable things that I think were said behind closed doors and whatnot during that day is unacceptable. And I think that there is intentionality behind it. And I would very much encourage you all to vote the censure down.
We will go Wanjin, Almanar, Yalom, and Chili. Tasha, I do have you on the list as well.
I just wanted a couple things I wanted to inform on. First, that was the night that Senator Speaker, whichever Custis, was confirmed into Senate. And when during, I believe, Senate forum, she did inform everyone, hey, the recording or the live stream goes even when we're in recess, which led a lot of senators, I believe, to see what was recorded, because I know I checked out of curiosity. Another thing, the other 2 senators who I believe did censurable things that were caught on that recording have since resigned from Senate. So it would be impossible to censure them. And as far as the censure is concerned, I don't wish to speak on it. I believe I will be abstaining because I am one of the people who has had issues with Senator Gell in the past, as demonstrated during my confirmation. But I just wanted to make those points.
Almanar, Yalom, and Chili, Salerno.
So I don't really see the merit for this censure. The same sentiments that Senator Hall had, that this seems very like thought out. I was checking the censors today and I saw that they're all towards Senator Gale, which is awfully suspect, I think. But this one specifically feels like it's reaching a lot. And so I'm just going to advise that everybody should vote against it.
So really quickly, we're getting into circle debate a little bit here, and we do have limited time. Are there dissenting opinions to what has been stated so far? Chair Salerno.
So I have a point of information. I've been looking through the recording. So recess stopped at 3 hours. So it's in the video. 3 hours and 53 minutes. Debate went on until a very long time after that. But I believe that according to this recording, Senator Becerra actually made the motion to postpone without knowing that he wanted to make a motion. And then Senator Cura made a motion to postpone. Just wanted to clarify.
Senator Moule-Costas, do you have dissenting opinions? Oh, Senator Moule.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to go to voting procedures. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Reminder, only vote if you're a sworn in senator and are on the Zoom. All right, by vote count of 4 to 27 to 11, the censure does not pass. Senator Spalding.
Yes, I would like to, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Just because I'm looking at the agenda and I see that there are people that have like resigned and have to be elected and appointed. Just for now, I would like to make a motion to go to miscellaneous business and then come back to the censures in the interest of time.
There's been a motion to go to miscellaneous business. Are there any objections to that motion? Chair Salerno, is that an objection? Spalding, do you withdraw?
No. Well, yes. In the interest of time, yes. Just
Brody.
I was just going to say, I think let's make sure to be mindful that by, let's say 9:15, we move to miscellaneous business so that everybody can get on the appropriate committees and handle that business. We will make sure to hit that by the time we get to the end.
Okay. Moving to the second censure, in the interest of time, I will say, I feel like this one is a little bit more clear cut and dry, but the second censure is very similar to the first. The conversation caught on recording was Senator Kehoe saying, "Did you see Sierra?" Senator Gale responds, "Oh, she's effing funny." She was like, "I don't want to talk about this." And I was like, I wanted to scream decorum. Senator Kehoe said, "Shut up, you're funny." And then Senator Gale responds, "These B words, do you see the group chat?" And I was like, "No, do you see the group chat?" And then the timestamps and everything are on the censure document. And this was also from the same video. Once again, it is alleged that there was a violation of Senate Rule 3.4. The student body senators shall refrain from using profanity or making direct attacks on any student government agents, organizations, representatives, or guests during the Senate meeting. Address student government agents, organizations, representatives, and guests by their respective titles with courtesy and respect, and maintaining a professional atmosphere during a Senate meeting. The LGR committee found that this had merit with a vote count of 4 to 3 to 1. I'll be now taking questions.
I just had a question about, so non-compliance is, how would someone be able to have someone else put up for non-compliance? Would they have to go talk to, what is the process for that?
Jan, I believe you just have to talk to people that can,
Is there a motion for a non-committee member to speak? Jan,
There's a list of people on Title IX, the Enforcement Accountability Statutes. I'm one of them, and most leaders of branches are as well, with some exceptions, including some shares, depending on what statutes they see in their committee.
Dilek Wanjan.
Can I clarify that a little bit?
You may.
I don't think any chairs have the authority because statutes say the committee. So I think the committee would have to vote on it.
Committee member to speak. Is there a motion? Jan.
I was just, look, I'm sure that we're all tired. I was just saying yes, and I thought we would move on.
Senator Borges.
Can I direct a question to Jan? Attorney
You
Arcedo,
may.
Sorry. Is there even a way to non-compliance someone when there's nothing to come back into compliance to?
Can you repeat that?
Is there a way to are you able to non-compliance someone when there's nothing to come back into non-compliance for? Like for example, if they don't complete some training.
Yeah. You can non-compliance someone even if they can't come back to it. Statutes say that then you have to speak to their supervisor, which, let's use me as an example. That would be the student body president or maybe even Shane, to see what actions are taken.
Senator Tache, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Chair Urea if you got the same takeaway from the LJR meeting we had when we discussed this that I did, which is that everyone can agree that obviously if what happened was considered during a Senate meeting, it very clearly violated the rules because you're not allowed to use foul language, and foul language was obviously used. So do you agree that literally the only thing people have to determine here for themselves is whether or not this counts as during the Senate meeting?
Yeah, exactly that.
Senator Mold and Senator Ferguson.
All right. So Brody, sunshine law, right? To what extent would a recording of a meeting that is in recess be considered to be part of that? Does it fall under that? Does it not? What's your opinion on that? Also, AG Soda or Chair Urea, if you had any input on that.
So if the question is, would a recording of a meeting in recess be a part of the sunshine, basically be records, be public records? That's a good question. I would tend to say yes, just because I'm going to give you two answers. I think that yes, because pretty much anything we do becomes public record as soon as it exists. So yes, but I don't think that answer is necessarily relevant to the question of whether the recess is part of the meeting, if that makes sense.
Senator Ferguson, then Foster, then McClellan.
May I direct a question to Attorney General Soto? Would it be possible in theory to make a motion to replace the censure with the notification of noncompliance? A censure with a notification of noncompliance. Sorry, this is hypothetical.
Brody, correct me on procedure because I'm not really knowledgeable in Robert's rules, or that knowledgeable. But it seems to me that you have to see the censure, vote against it, and then noncompliance. It isn't like you can just withdraw and then noncompliance.
Yeah, to clarify, the filer can always has the right to withdraw, but yeah, you can't just like swap them. You have to deal with this one and then potentially address a different issue.
Senator Foster, McClellan, then Salerno.
Can I clarify something really quickly?
You may.
The meeting was on recess. It was never adjourned, so it's technically still in session.
Just a quick reminder to everyone, we have less than an hour left in Senate. just to keep that out there for y'all. So McClellan, then Salerno, then Holmes.
AG Soto, correct me if I'm wrong in my thinking this way, but I would like to say during the recess, and the thing is, I believe it was like it was a fluke for the mic to be on. So the intent was for it, like if things went according to how they ought to have, the mic wouldn't have been on, meaning that it wouldn't have been recorded. It wouldn't have been public record.
To plainly answer that question, it wouldn't have been public record, but the meeting is meant to be public record. And any official business being discussed, like if I meet with you to talk about Attorney General Mickey Mouse's recent opinion on lollipops, that's official business, and that can be public records requested, though that has other implications, but I hope that answers your question.
Because we are told, like going into to recess, not to talk about business, because the intent, like, I mean, we could walk out there during recess and talk about things. It's not going to be public record. We're talking about things in like about business. That's not. So that's kind of like what I'm getting at. Just because it was in here, it was like the same as if you were out there, because it was during recess. We're not supposed to be talking about business. That mic that recorded it would have been off otherwise, like every other mic.
I might be wrong, and please feel free to correct me. But I'll get to that question after today's meeting, because even though I love talking about legal issues, trust me, I love it. I'm not sure that is a question that's germane or needs to be answered for you guys to move forward in consideration here.
I'm going to take Salerno, then Holmes, and then I'm going to have Ethan speak because we still need to hear both people in Salerno.
I have two questions. I'm not sure who it's directed to, but how is this conversation related to Senate business? Was it just because it was recorded? Because nothing was really like, I mean, I'm looking at it, it might be wrong, but nothing was really discussed. So I don't understand how that's Senate business. And then I have a follow-up question.
Do you like Wanjin?
Yeah, I don't think that was official business or anything it was an official Senate business.
So for clarification, this is not my second question, but for clarification, that technically wouldn't be breaking sunshine, Brody?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Brody, can you answer that?
Sorry, ask it again.
If no business was discussed, there's no mentioning of voting of legislation, nothing that's business. So was it because it was recorded that is technically like sunshine law? Or, sorry.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to clarify something here. There's a difference between what we have to do based on sunshine law and what becomes a public document. So like, did that conversation need to be recorded per sunshine law? No. And I think that's what you're getting at. Because it was recorded, it becomes a public document. Again, to my answer to Mole's question, I don't know that is relevant to the question of whether that was part of the meeting. But yes, once it was recorded, it became a public document.
My second question is just really quickly. So had this conversation happened literally by the bathrooms, we wouldn't be even seeing this. This technically, I think, would be towards Temple. If it had been through the bathroom and it had been no recording, no anything, would we still be seeing this censure?
No, you would not. Only because it was videoed, recorded. What I found it reasonable to be censured.
I do want to point out the conversation is Senator Gell's not being accused of breaking sunshine law. She's accused of breaking Senate Rule 3.4.
Senator Cox, and then I'm going to let Temple speak.
Oh, can I direct a question to Chair Holmes?
You may.
Okay, so in the affidavit, Senator Temple mentions Senate Rule 3.4, Senate behavioral standard, which is student body senators must address student government agents with courtesy and respect. Chair Holmes, do you feel disrespected by Senator Gell's comments?
Yes. All because we have limited time, I'm going to go ahead and let Ethan speak, and we'll go into questioning, then we'll let Gail speak, we'll go into questioning, and then we'll debate. I'm going to be pretty mindful of, because we have such limited time, I'm going to be pretty strict on timing from here on out.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will be very brief in this as well. As for the second censure I wrote, I found it very necessary to issue this as it had violated Senate Rule 304, because this is a behavior that we frankly shouldn't condone outright. Of course, we as human beings, and especially as college students, we do curse a lot. But when it comes to being recorded, and when it comes to in official business, we have to be sure to refrain from using that at all costs. Moreover, and as such, since that was recorded and since that is considered a public records document, I found it necessary to issue this censure in order to remind ourselves that we should not let loose those kinds of let loose those kinds of terms, because we are to be held to a much higher standard in our respective roles. I would have censured anybody who had had their language so clearly caught on camera. I don't care who it would have been. I would have censured them right then and there. Moreover, the senator in question had indeed spoken ill to another before the mic, and it had undermined the station of us yet once more. So therefore, I find it necessary to issue such censures, again, not as a punitive means, but nor as an attack, but just to remind ourselves of who we are and what we are here to do.
Is that all, Ethan?
Yes, I yield my time. I'm sorry.
All right, we will go Gail Hall.
My first question, Ethan, is you said that you would have done this to any other senator caught on recording cursing during a Senate meeting. A senator was caught on recording on the 21st during a meeting at 9:09 p.m. Why am I being censured when other senators have done the same thing?
I don't recall there being somebody cursing over. I'm not quite sure I follow that line of questioning. Could you please refer again, Senator Chair Gale?
Chair, may I withdraw that question and ask a different question?
You may.
So I will withdraw my question. My question now is, on that evening, you led a statement comparing actions of a specific senator to overthrowing a government. What is that? How do you explain that behavior when you, in my opinion, displayed similar unprofessional behavior? What constitutes you and gives you, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm going to object to that question. It doesn't have anything relevant to do with what is happening here. We will go Hall, Ferguson, Holmes.
Yeah, I just have a clarifying question, just kind of more to understand, because obviously I think the wider issue here is more kind of the public record side of it, and whether it is or isn't is more, I guess, in your view, your personal view, just so we kind of have an understanding. And probably I'll ask Senator Gale the same question: is do you feel that when we are in a period of recess, whether again within the chamber itself or outside, do you feel that the conversations being had are subject to public record, and therefore, again, regardless of the content of what is being talked about, because I think that's a whole separate conversation, but more, do you just feel and that's the merit for the censure in your mind, is that despite us being recessed but not adjourned, we are still bound to be cognizant of what we're saying and things like that?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. So long, the conversations in themselves is one thing, but to use such language while on camera acting as a senator is unbecoming, because if I were to hear an actual U.S. senator or a U.S. representative cursing on the floor of the House or of Congress, I would not put trust in them at all to maintain such decorum and to act in a professional manner behoovant to our interests. And having such language stated here is in a very similar, albeit much scaled down sort of respect. So in regards, yes, I find it that we should be cognizant of what we are saying while we are in the chamber and while we are acting as a senator.
Senator Ferguson, then Holmes.
I'm just curious, Senator Temple, after you heard this statement, did you talk to Senator Holmes about this before filing the censure?
Same situation. I did not have the capability to communicate with Chair Holmes on this, and that is a dereliction on my part once more.
Senator Holmes.
Actually, Ethan, you may not remember this, but it was like after the meeting was adjourned, it was more like, hey, are you okay? How are you feeling? Type of thing. So I wasn't aware that the censure was being made, but I was aware of how Ethan felt. I mean, Chair Temple felt about the situation. So.
Any other questions for Senator Temple? Senator Taché.
Yeah, so I guess my question is based off of what I asked Chair Urea, and then she said in response regarding literally the only thing mattering here being whether or not we consider this during the meeting. Do you think there's any point to anyone asking you and or Senator Gell any more questions about this, or if it's literally just personal interpretation on that and we can move on?
I believe it's a matter of personal interpretation. We can proceed if you wish.
Any other questions for Chair Temple? Seeing none, thank you, Chair Temple. You will now be hearing from Chair Gell. Chair Gell, you have 10 minutes whenever you're ready.
Awesome. I also attached a second link to this as well. Hi again. I want to start off by saying I will not excuse what I said. Like I mentioned earlier, this evening was a high emotional evening. The timing of the event was during recess of Senate. I was confiding in two of my closest friends during this evening, and my frustration was not truly with Senator Holmes. I am sorry that she got the blunt end and that I let my frustration speak for me. However, this was supposed to be an intimate conversation I was having with a friend that understands me and that could just listen to me vent. The evening was a lot for everyone. And personally, I do ask my therapist for advice on SG stuff as it does get overwhelming. And she informed me 3 ways that I could do this: deep breaths, continuing to count to 10, and venting and confiding in a friend. I was doing the last. I was confiding in my friend. My actions to Chair Holmes have always been kind. I have engaged in conversation, asking about her life, connecting over mutual friends. I have attended her caucus meetings and tried to assist her in any way. I met with her when I became SBA vice chair to help her work on legislation. I have not displayed any disregard for her or who she is. I would also like to note this was a time that I was trying to articulate my emotions. I never said this on the floor because this is not truly how I felt. I am someone who speaks my opinion. I'm sure you all know that. So if I felt this way, I would have said something during the session. These comments were made in the safety of my close friends who understand that while I may say these things, they aren't my truth because actions truly speak louder than words, and my actions do testify to that. I always try to be welcoming and understanding, but sometimes when emotions are high, it's okay to not be happy in a specific moment. Where Senator Temple believes I did not try to reconcile, he fails to mention I asked Sierra to have a conversation because I was sorry. I was sorry my flesh got the best of me, and I was genuinely sorry because I understood how hurt and confused she may be feeling. I was just ranting to a friend outside of the Senate session to process, but she could not have known that. It was unfair to her, and I asked her to have a conversation because I do understand words hurt. I was not showing disregard for her character. Had I continued to pry and berate her on the floor, I could understand that if that constitutes as disregarding her character. However, one comment on a situation is not me disrespecting her. That is an unfair statement. I retract that, because I don't want to say that was not disrespecting her if she feels disrespected. I retract that statement. I'm not trying to invalidate her feelings. But it is an unfair statement that I was commenting on a specific incident. I was not commenting on her character, I was commenting on an incident. My actions never displayed disregard for her as a person. This was supposed to be a private conversation. I never spoke on her character, but only the specific interaction. So to say showing disregard for her character and lacking respect towards her disposition at the time of the recorded is a loaded statement that is jumping to conclusions. People are allowed to have positive and negative comments about something or a situation. I just feeling that this is not allowed. Furthermore, I did use profanity outside of a Senate meeting. However, we were in recess. Other senators have cursed on the floor a multitude of times. However, the Senate was in recess. If we are enacting this rule even during recess, then it is unfair for Senator Temple to say these things, as I overheard him cursing that night as well. Where Senator Temple states this constitutes a pattern of disruptive behavior, wherein Senator Gell, rather than reconcile with the senator in question, instead discussed them in an unfavorable light behind her back. I'm confused about the disruptive behavior he's referring to. He bluntly states this with no information or no evidence on this. The only senator mentioned was Holmes. So I'm confused how this is a pattern when it is one incident. Senator Temple provides no evidence, but only these empty statements. You cannot say it is a pattern with no evidence. The only evidence that is found is my one comment on the situation. By Senator Temple saying this, it makes me feel like he is trying to constitute one incident and make the situation look worse to benefit his censure based off of his opinion. Opinions are not truth or evidence. Senator Temple that evening was talking poorly on Jacob Bertram without reconciling with him and continued to compare his actions to overthrowing a government during a Senate meeting. I think it is fair to say that that evening was passionate and emotional. Yet I'm the only person who was in this meeting for the censure based off of a comment, while others graciously sit, not being censured, even when going on an inappropriate tangent, comparing the actions of a student to overthrowing a whole government system. I did not censure Temple for the decorum of this evening, even though I probably should have, but I understood the evening was emotional. It's unfortunate Temple did not have the same understanding for me, and I am sorry for my words. I confided in Brody, my therapist, and my close friends on my actions. I reached out to Sierra to make amends as well. This was not during Senate. My words were in confidence. Am I not allowed to confide in my friends about a situation that is emotionally draining? I did not slander her character. I did not bully her. I did not berate her with insults. I made a comment on a situation during recess. I've continued to work with Chair Holmes and continue to benefit and help the student body through legislation and events. So to say a pattern of disruptive behavior with no evidence is unfair and unjust. These are opinions from Senator Temples, and opinions cannot be true. As for the term "these B words," while our meeting was subject to public record, the Senate session was at a halt, meaning no minutes were taken, meaning that minute was paused because we all needed a break. Like I mentioned before, I was confiding in a friend and used profanity when Senate was in recess. If a microphone was in every single conversation that night, I'm sure the discussions would be similar to mine. Once again, let me state that I'm not trying to avoid taking accountability for what I said, but think of the conversations you also have with your best friends when you are frustrated and you just need to vent. Imagine if that was recorded and played over. It is embarrassing, and I am sorry if I hurt any of your feelings. It wasn't my intention. The Senate was in recess though, meaning the chair adjourned us for recess, so we had a break. The recess is intended for us to take our Senate hat off and just be people who need to process real emotions so that we try our best to keep things professional on the floor. And I was doing just that. I used this time during the break, not during Senate. I do not believe it is fair to censure me for using profanity when others have openly used the same language as myself on the floor during a Senate meeting. I use the language off the floor, therefore the censure should not be applicable to this incident because there have been other instances where senators have cursed on the floor, but no censure was written for them all. I also wanted to note that in terms of like disrespecting a senator, I don't know the definition or what constitutes as disrespect. I want to let everyone know when I said those things, I was saying them, my Senate hat off and just talking. At the end of the day, it's almost like something that broke the camel's back, and it wasn't my intention to hurt anyone's feelings. I did not go and talk about anyone's character. I talked about a specific incident to process. I hope that you guys can maybe understand that. But with that, I yield the rest of my time to questions.
We will go Holmes, Ferguson, Foster.
Point of information. Yes, Senator Gell has attended one of my Black Caucus meetings, but it was a very charged meeting to which Director Fletcher had to tell Senator Gell to calm down. Another instance, yes, I was on SBA for a time and I talked to Senator Gell about legislation that I was going to write, but we never had a meeting. So Senator Gell does mention how she's always been kind to me, but those are not, in less formal terms, the vibes that I do get from Senator Gell. So even though, I don't know, maybe that could be my opinion, but just based off of that, the merits of this argument go down the toilet for me. So, fill my time.
Also, I'm going to take all the hands that I see on here, and then I'm going to move to debate because we have 15 minutes until we have to go to miscellaneous business. So, Ferguson, Foster, Patel.
I'll just make it quick. Senator Gell, you mentioned that you were ranting about Senator Holmes, other people. Would you like it if Senator Holmes was saying the same things about you?
I wouldn't say I was ranting because I was ranting, but I made a statement. And I know Senator Holmes has made statements about me as well, based off of what other senators have told me. So it has happened. I think it's natural. I think it's okay for people to have a positive and negative comment about someone in terms of a situation. but it is not nice. It is not polite. So I will say I don't want that for anyone. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for Senator Holmes, if that answers your question.
Senator Foster, then Patel, then Caldwell.
May I direct two quick questions to Chair Gale? They're very quick.
Make them very quick.
Okay. You said you apologized to Chair Holmes, correct? So I just have one question for you then. Would you have apologized to Senator Holmes had you not been caught on the audio saying that about her?
Yes. Are you talking about if I was not caught on camera talking to, would I have apologized? Not yes, not, I apologize because what I did hurt her. It wasn't my intention to hurt her, but it did hurt her. Therefore, I should apologize. My intention was that I never attacked her character. It was a statement on a situation. So to answer your question, I apologize because she voiced hurt, and I'm not one to sit here and just hurt someone and not try and understand why and how to fix it moving forward.
Point of information, please ask questions relating to what's outlined in the censure and how it relates to passing the censure and if the censure has merit. Senator Patel, Caldwell, Wanjin.
So in Senate Rules 3.04, it says student body senators shall refrain from using profanity or making direct attacks on any student government agents. Would you say your comments are an attack on a direct student government agent?
That would imply having to get the definition of what an attack is. I didn't attack her character. I would not say it is a direct attack to her.
Can I follow up? Okay, so the Senate Rule 3.04 also says refrain from using profanity on a student government agent. So would you say you use profanity on a student government agent?
That goes into the context of this is talking about in terms of a meeting, during a Senate meeting. It was a recess for us to take our Senate hats off. Therefore, I do not constitute it as a meeting. Therefore, I would say I did not use profanity during a Senate meeting because we were in recess where we were allowed to have a break from Senate because it was needed. And therefore, I utilized that break to process. So I would say that I did not break 304A.
Senator Caldwell, Wanjin, Mole, and Maury, and then we will move to debate.
Yield for time.
Senator Wanjin.
Were you aware the mic was on?
Yes, I saw the red going on. I saw the red on.
Senator Mole, then
Yield
Maury.
to Tasha.
Senator Tache.
Yeah, Senator Gill, my questions, if you don't remember it, I can restate it, but the same one that I had for Chair Temple. Do you think there's any point to us asking you more questions here and or going to debate and having actual debate?
Honestly, I do not think, I think the real debate is if this constitutes as a Senate meeting or if it's the floor. I do not think it constitutes as whether or not X, Y, and Z. I think it's a matter of, is recess considered a Senate meeting? So I do not think there's any point of asking any questions because that is up to us as a body to determine.
My apologies, Tasha, for not seeing you on the Zoom. Senator Maury, and then Uriah.
Can I direct a question to AG Soto?
You may.
Does the recess constitute as part of the meeting per the statutes?
The recess pauses a meeting, meaning that similar to an adjournment, it kind of puts it in a void. We'll put it that way. So it would fall outside of the realm of public records or even sunshine law.
Chair Uriah,
Moves debate.
is that an objection? Okay, we are now in debate. We will go Mull, Gell, Caldwell, and then I'll get the next round of hands as well.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, when a meeting is recessed, that's no longer a meeting. I think that there are questions about possibly other things in here, but as far as this very narrow thing that we're deciding on, the meeting was not in session, and just because Senator Gell was in that location while the mic happened to be on isn't any different from something that someone does out there.
Senator Caldwell, then Gale, then Cox.
I think I'm going to echo most of those sentiments. We've heard multiple kind of official opinions at this point that the only thing to determine was whether or not this occurred during a meeting. We've also heard official opinions stating that when a meeting is in recess, it is paused. We've all overheard each other use profanity, whether or not it was directed at a senator or not, after and in between meeting during recess. I think fundamentally this just doesn't have grounds, as it wasn't during the meeting. It was rude. It was mean. We're adults. We can talk that out.
Senator Gale, Cox, McClellan, then Tache.
I will yield. I was just getting a clarification as to whether I will yield.
Senator Cox, McClellan, Tache.
Chair Holmes herself stated on record that she feels disrespected by the comments made by Chair Gale on the Senate floor, which means that this censure is valid, accurate, and fair. The part of this clause that mentions respect does not require the meeting to be in session, so that is irrelevant. I will be voting yes.
Senator McClellan, Tache, then Yalaman Chili.
So the whole debate does center on whether or not this constitutes as during a meeting or not. The Attorney General said that this isn't a void and is not public records, except for the fact that it was, because it was on a recording that is public records. The whole entire recording is on YouTube and it's public. But that, whether or not that does still count because the intent was it for not, that's one thing. And then if you were to say that it does constitute as during a meeting, then does it constitute as using profanity or making direct attacks on a student government agent? That's two things. I mean, the intent from Senator Gale, she says that it was not meant to be an attack. Senator Holmes believes that it was. She feels disrespected. It's very subjective. There's too many questions on whether it's during, and then if it's during, on whether or not it is or isn't. And the point made on it, whether of 3.4b, which does not state during a meeting, in the censure, only 3.04a is mentioned. So that's what we have to look at. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to be voting against this censure.
Tache, Yalaman Chili, Mole.
I don't intend on saying which way I'm going to vote. I just wanted to say, in the interest of time and how clearly black and white this case is, I'm just discouraging everyone else from speaking during debate so we can just move to voting.
Is that a motion to go to voting?
Sure, why not?
Are there any objections? Holmes? I will not be seeing that motion.
That's okay.
Senator Spalding?
I just wanted to say, it seems the focus of the center is whether or not this was, done while we were in a meeting. And while I think it was very disrespectful and distasteful, and I know that Chair Gale is saying that she doesn't, at the end of the day, Chair Holmes did feel attacked and she was insulted, and so that has to be acknowledged and that has to be respected. But AG Soto did say that during a recess, the meeting is on a pause. And if that is solely what the center is on, then for that specific reason only, I will be voting against.
All right. I'm going to take Yalaman Chili, Wanjin, and Costas, you will move to vote.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The subject of the censure is over Rule 3.04a, which says refrain from using profanity or making direct attacks on any student government agents, organizations, representatives, or guests during the Senate meeting, except a recess, which in my opinion is not a Senate meeting. Senator Temple himself admitted that this would not be a censure if Senator Gale had said her comments outside of Senate or outside of the charge on chambers, or if the comments that were heard were not recorded on camera. Now, do I think that these comments were rude? Of course I do. I don't think they were moral. I don't think they were ethical. I think Senator Gale should have apologized to Senator Holmes for these comments. However, we have to, when we see that whether the censure has merit or not, we have to look at the rules and not on individual perceptions of morality or ethics. And I don't see how this breaks any rules, sadly, and I'm going to be voting against the censure. I encourage other people to do the same. This was a private conversation, and there were no minutes recorded of it. It cannot be considered as a Senate meeting. That's about it.
Dila Guanjin Costas, and then you may retain.
I hate to be the person that always argues with Attorney General Soto, but I personally believe that during a meeting means after it has begun and before it has adjourned. While we are in recess, that means the recess is what is on the table. We are still in the meeting. It is just that the recess is what is on the table until we are out of that.
Senator Costas.
Okay, I'm gonna speak to you guys like a human and not a senator for a second. Regardless of what you think of the previous president, he was caught like repeatedly swearing and he ran the country. I swear all the time. I'm sure a lot of you guys swear all the time. I don't think a censure should be weighed because somebody swore. The comments that were made toward Senator Holmes or Chair Holmes, I think need some more discussion, and that should be maybe handled privately before a censure is issued. But I don't think that just because somebody swore, we need this much time to resolve it. There are so many other issues that we have on this agenda. And like I said, I'm pretty sure everybody here swears all the time. I just don't think this is something that needs as much time as it has. But with that, I move to vote.
We are now in voting procedures. All right, by a vote count of 6 to 23 to 11, the censure does not pass. All right, is there a motion to postpone a recommendation of censure number 3 to next week's meeting? Awesome. SBA Committee Chair Salerno.
Hello, everyone. I was hoping to do this a little bit earlier. So we elected a vice chair. Congratulations, Vice Chair Anderson. I'm very excited to work with you. Just a small comment. So student government is usually seen as a fiscal resource. SBA really wants to change how RSOs utilize our committee. We want to make sure that our students and RSOs know that we're a resource. We're currently creating a flyer that contains all of the ways that SBA can serve as a resource, survey, email, contact information, what we've done in the past. And if you plan on attending a GBM for your RSO, please let me know so that we can provide you with this information. It'll probably be finalized by the end of next week, so I'll update you on that. During the break, I received an email expressing a concern regarding the library 5th floor not being completely quiet. The concern was acknowledged and I replied to the student. I am waiting for a response to see how we could further help. If you have any questions about how that was addressed, please let me know. And then the last thing is that SBA will be reaching out to various campus entities to discern if we need to address the current national formula shortage. We want to make sure that we are supporting all of our students who are mothers.
Any questions for Chair Salerno? Senator Moll? Okay.
Move to go to Senate forum.
I will not be seeing that motion. I would like to go through the rest of the agenda and make sure we get to postpone everything to next meeting. Chair Urea.
It's fine if you don't do this, but motion to see confirmations.
I will not be seeing that motion. We do not have time this evening. Confirmations, is there a motion to postpone confirmations to next meeting? Are there any objections? Seeing none, they will be postponed to next meeting. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading. Is there a motion to postpone Internal Bill 5402, 5401, and 5402, Internal Bill 5402, Resolution 5401, and Resolution 5402 to next meeting? Are there any objections? Reasoning?
I'm only objecting because at least with my bill, I don't know if I can just like see just my bill, but once it's finalized, I can like start going to all the apartment complexes and getting recycling done. We already know like what's in my bill. I just want to get it seen quickly so that way I can use it along with the letters that Orange County is sending out. But if we don't have to see it tonight, that's perfectly fine.
What, Chair Borges?
If we just don't postpone it, it could be an unfinished business for next meeting and be seen sooner. So we don't have the same issue. If you just don't want to postpone them at all, just
Don't like, just have them be an unfinished business. Okay, so don't see them at all then. Okay. Senator Moore.
Is there any way we could unpostpone the confirmations then, just for the same reason?
Brody.
Yes, someone could make a motion to rescind the motion to postpone. That would be the correct motion to make.
Okay. Motion to rescind the motion to postpone the confirmations to next week.
There's been a motion to rescind the motion to postpone confirmations to next week. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I will take that as general consent. Okay. Senator Foster.
Move to miscellaneous business.
There's been a motion to go to miscellaneous business. Are there any objections?
I object.
Do you withdraw? Deleg Wanjin.
Move to go to Senate forum.
There's been a motion to go to Senate forum. Are there any objections? Do you
withdraw?
Senator Maury.
I just think that miscellaneous business is more important. Senate forum is just talking about.
All right. Are you moving to go to miscellaneous business then? All right. There's been a motion to go to miscellaneous business. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. All right. Miscellaneous business resignations. Senator Maroto has resigned from Senate. For CRT, Senator Kira Robbins, Martin, Roll, Yalamanchili, Gale, and Lerdo have resigned from CRT. From FAO, Senator Van Kirk, Spalding, and Castillo have resigned from FAO. For ORS, Senator Cinco has resigned from ORS. Elections. Is there a motion to open elections for LJR? Are there any objections? Is that an objection?
I was never a member of CRT to begin with, so I don't know how I could have resigned from CRT.
Did you resign from a committee?
I have not. I was never a member of CRT.
Is there a motion to? Okay. Do I just take it off? All right. There was motion to open LJR elections. Are there any objections to that? Is there a motion to open nominations? Any objections? Is there a motion to elect Senator Lerdo or is there a motion to nominate Senator Lerdo to LJR? Are there any objections? Awesome. Is there a motion to elect Senator Lerdo to LJR? Any objections? I will take that as general consent. Congratulations, Senator Lerdo. You are in LJR. You've been elected to LJR. Appointments, SBA. I hereby appoint Senator Spalding, Van Kirk, Roll, Cure, and Martinez to SBA. I hereby appoint Senator Castillo to ORS, and I hereby appoint Senator Castillo to Women's Caucus. Custis' Chicotor and Cerise's Collectibles are not happening tonight.
Is there a point of information? Senator Robbins' name is also on ORS. Could you please appoint her to ORS as well?
to be fair, Emma literally just put it on.
Dila Guanjin? No. Okay. Do I just return to ORS? I hereby appoint Senator Robbins to ORS. Is there a motion to go to Senate Forum? Awesome. Just so you know, we have 12 minutes left in Senate and we still need to go to roll call, so make your announcements in Senate Forum quick. Chair Borges.
Rose, an update. Our shuttle got an overhead cover. Read the rest if you like. So for time, I yield.
Senator Taché.
I can talk next week. It's fine.
Chair Holmes.
Just wanted to let y'all know, I know Chair Salerno touched on this as well about the national formula shortage, but I also want to let you know that Representative Ana Viescamani's office is taking donations for the national formula shortage. So please let me know if you have any UCF mothers or anyone in the area who can donate and or benefit. Also, I would like to mention, I did not expand on my previous announcement who Professor Nagy was. I apologize. He made some controversial comments during the spark of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020, which followed his which called for his resignation, and now he is being reinstated. So that was all for me. Thank you.
Anyone else for Senate Forum? Seeing none, Senate deliberations. Are there any senators wishing to enter a period of deliberations? Seeing none. Advisors report, Brody. Also, please don't pack up until we are adjourned.
In the sake of time, I've given more details in the announcement, so feel free to reference them. If you have any questions, let me know. And also writing your own shout outs.
Senator Mole.
Move to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Chair Urea.
Speaker Custis. Maroto, oh, never mind. Mole,
Here.
Potier. Cura,
Here.
Gomez,
Here.
Martinez,
Here.
McClellan,
Present.
Millington,
Present.
Richard,
Present.
Temple,
Present.
Bercy, Caldwell,
Present.
Robbins,
Here.
Spalding,
Present.
Van Kirk,
Here.
Asteo,
Here.
Mason,
Here.
Lairdo,
Here.
Maury,
Here.
Wynn, okay. Pina, Simcoe,
Present.
Veribert,
Here.
Domino,
Here.
Foster,
Here.
Galloway,
Here.
Beaumont,
Here.
Becerra,
Present.
Gale,
Present.
Demarla,
Here.
Patel,
Here.
Yamanchili,
Present.
Cinco, Burrell, Borges,
Here.
Roll,
Here.
Almanar,
Present.
Anderson,
Present.
Castellan, Sabula,
Present.
Hall,
Here.
Holmes,
Present.
Huerta,
Present.
Costas,
Here.
Martin,
Present.
Salerno,
Present.
Saucedo, Pache,
Here.
Cerisi,
Present.
Cox.
Present. I
40.
also wanted to say I'm here. You didn't call my name.
Oopsie, sorry. Noted. Okay, 47 out of 55 quorum is verified.
I hereby adjourn Senate at 9:22 p.m.